Wendy Bell Radio is live.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's good to be with you. I'm very excited that you're here. You know what? We got to do a parasite cleanse this week. You want to try to do that tomorrow?
Yes, please.
Let's do it tomorrow. That's fine.
I need to do one too.
Who would have ever thought that we would be talking about getting rid of parasites in our bodies? Right? Let's take medicine for that. Right?
No, you got worms floating all through you.
I'm like, it's so gross. How's everybody doing? You know, this is one of those days. We've got a pretty good show today. I'm excited about this show. And I think the reason why, oh, yay, we're in the small box. Why do they put that chick in the big box all the time? Is that because it's Dan Bongino's girl?
Yeah.
You know, I could be Dan Bongino's girl. Just kidding. Just kidding. We're going to beat you, Haley, and you're going to like it. How's everybody doing? It's a beautiful day here in Pennsylvania. Still more of the cottonwood tree shirtlets flying all over the place.
As soon as I pulled into the parking lot, I had to hurry up and put my sunroof closed.
It's everywhere. It's everywhere on everything. I've got
It gets in your car.
It gets in my mouth. I was like, yeah, it's pretty grody. It's good to be with you guys. Oh, Demanda, it is so beautiful today. I agree. We deserve it.
Yeah. And what do I get to do today?
Well, you're going to cut some grass.
No. Take the damn cat to the vet.
Oh, you mean the vet that saved your cat's life? Cat had cancer. Mike is like, I think we need to do some stem cells. And Brock was like,
no, he didn't do stem cells.
Oh, he did something
He did
else.
some other hocus pocus that he does.
And now your cat won't die. Whether you want her to or not.
I won't blame him for
Just
that.
kidding. No, you're the ultimate animal lover. I'm scrambled today. Scrambled, I say. There's a lot going on. Did you guys see that story about the CIA agent? How is it possible that some dude who's like a top secret security clearance guy at the CIA has 300?
Why does the CIA have gold bars?
Why do you have gold bars? Why do you have 303 gold bars?
As of right now, that dude has more gold bars than they've proved that are in Fort Knox.
Thank you very much. We have no idea if there even is a Fort Knox anymore. And this guy is just like been taking, where did it come from? Why? Why do you have that? Makes you realize how
dirty,
gross. Then Stephen Greer, Dr. Greer has a video out, and I didn't see it in time, but we can do it tomorrow. But he's talking about how the blob that is preventing the president from getting all of these files, he's like, these corporations are running a criminal enterprise. And I was like, is anybody telling the truth anymore?
In fairness.
Does anybody just want to go do a good job and give a crap about their country and do the right thing? Like, is anybody out there like that anymore? Because I might be the only one.
In fairness.
I don't know.
The government is run like the mob.
Yeah.
You know, like,
yeah.
Where's your taxes? That's them coming up and saying,
yeah,
we're here to, you know, we're taking care of the streets and stuff. And you got to pay them. You don't know what that money's for. You're not getting anything for it. No different than the government taking your taxes. What are you getting for it? They blackmail, they bribe.
There's something that really has me fussy, though. So Brock was in here. We were foostering with the television. I couldn't get it to work right. So he came in and helped me out. And I was listening. I don't know if you were paying attention to the HHS stuff dropping about autism. I almost feel like the childhood vaccine registry was a precursor to COVID, where they create these needs. You got to have this. And then they make you sick. So then they can rob the government blind off of autism.
Create the problem, get paid to fix the problem, but never fix the problem.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. That's exactly it. And so I'm super agitated right now. Super agitated. Meantime, ... we have this monster bevy of new or old who want to come back sponsors, and it's like crazy. Whatever we're doing, whatever you're doing
I'm
is
excited
working
about the
because
one.
everybody, guys, you know who wants to come back?
Chuck Juice.
Chuck Juice. Like, I know we can't say Chuck's still fighting for us.
Yeah,
but he may well be.
is.
But he is.
But he is. He's still kicking ass.
He still is beyond this world.
He's still kicking ass.
That's what's going on today. Okay. So anyway,
Death might be the only thing. Chuck might be the only thing death doesn't stop. I mean, Chuck just keeps going.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to your daily dose of facts to fight off the liberal gaslighting.
You can be in the middle of a hurricane.
You have sanctuary in the city of Chicago.
Or you can be on a calm day. North is still north. You could be in a thunderstorm.
I am angry. We are not going back. Not ever.
North is still north. People can yell at me.
The hell with the Supreme Court. We will defy them.
North is still north. It doesn't change fundamental things. And in this business, right is still right, even if you stand by yourself.
We don't get fooled again. No.
Live across the fruited plain and from sea to shining sea, we're converting the Marxist left 1 hour at a time on the Wendy Bell radio program.
Well, hello, America, and greetings to all of you. Happy Thursday. All across the fruited plain, this is the Wendy Bell radio program. I'm Wendy, and I'm so excited to be with you. I've got a huge announcement for you guys right now because I don't know. I don't know what's going on with you, but I am so grateful. Yesterday, we hit 8 million podcast downloads. 8 million. I mean, it is so beyond my wildest imagination when I said to Brock, screw it. Let's do this thing by ourselves. Let's start our own radio network. And he's like, okay, what does that mean? I'm like, I don't know. We don't have to answer to anybody except the people we care about. And that would be you. So if you're new, please join our family, wendybellradio.com. I love hearing from you. I love communicating with you in the chat during the commercial breaks. And we so enjoy sharing common sense conservative values with you. So thank you very much for being here. As I say every day, you're a part of my family and a big part of my heart. Welcome home. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. We got some news to report about the wheels on the bus coming off. The whole story of everything about Joe Biden, his election, his presidency, all of the ways they hid that guy, thinking that your common sense in your own eyes and ears, you would not trust them. And instead, you would believe what they were telling you. He's great. He's perfect. Everything's fabulous. Seriously. And we were all like, really? He's sleeping on a beach again. Nobody wants to see Joe Biden without a shirt on, okay? We're going to talk about that in a minute. But right before we got on the air, I got a phone call. And it's a young lady named Hannah, who I don't know. And I don't know why I answered the call, because I never take calls from people I don't know. But I was like, whatever. And I took it. And she's like, hey, my name is Hannah, and I represent this real estate company in Knoxville, Tennessee. And I understand, I see that you've been kind of snooping around our website looking at different homes. Is there anything I can do to help you? And I started talking to her for a minute. And I was like, well, here's the story, Hannah. 3 of my sons are going to be in school together next year and the year after that at the University of Tennessee in Knoxville. And it really is kind of stupid for us, after the twins are done with their freshman year, wherever they've got to live in a dorm, to put them in some apartment somewhere where we're going to be spending, let's just say, just for argument's sake, and it's always more expensive than this. Let's just say an apartment in Knoxville is $1,000 a month. I'm going to be spending $3,000 a month to somebody else to house my children. Why wouldn't I buy a house? Why wouldn't I buy something? I don't know how that works. I don't know what the inventory is like, but I do know that about $900 a month I can send from my 529 money from the kids. And essentially, if we buy a house, we could have the kids pay the mortgage. And she's like, yep, that makes sense. A lot of people do that. Love it, love it. And I'm like, it's a shame that you have to think about places and ways that you can basically get as much of your money, keep as much of your money as possible rather than giving it to this endless cycle of fraud, waste, and abuse. Look, I don't think this administration right now is screwing us over. I don't think President Trump and the people in his cabinet are doing things that are nefarious or trying to perpetuate fraud in any nature. In fact, every single day, if you look online or you flip through the channels, you're going to see a report of some unwinding of Joe Biden era abuse of we the people. And it's up to us now to come up with these wheelie-dealy ways to protect our money and prevent them from taking more than they should. This is the world in which we live, and we probably have for a long time, but I've never been in a position to try to game the system, if you will. So before Hannah got off the phone, she's like, all right, what's your budget? I'm like, $4. Okay, it's going to be a little difficult. I told her, and she's like, okay, I'll start putting together a list for you, and you can kind of have an idea. We have a full year before we need to do anything, which is very beneficial. But then I started thinking about it. If we were to take all of the ways in which our benevolence, our humility, humanity, our morality, our compassion, that gooey, we care about people, how much we are taken advantage of by people who really don't care, just want to make money and walk away with it. If we could carve that out, can you imagine how wealthy we would all be? And I say this because there was an alert that popped up. Whoosh, Fox News alert. Everything's a Fox News alert. This was kind of interesting, though. It was just about an hour ago. So there's Department of Health and Human Services has uncovered the autism scam that we all thought, wow, Minnesota's bad. Minneapolis, Nick Sorter, he sure did uncover a lot of daycare and autism and healthcare fraud and transportation fraud. Well, this administration has been digging into it, and they have uncovered that Medicaid billing has surged in all 50 states over the last 5 years. You mean when Joe Biden came into office? Exactly. And in fact, it surged for autism treatment over the last 5 years, this Fox News report told me. The number of Medicaid claims for autism specifically in Minnesota surged 50,000%. 50,000%, like feeding our future. The scam where they were going to create meals during COVID, and they created more meals than the word children, like in the entire state, could have possibly eaten at once. And they did this and got away with it to the tune of $250 million. There's no way that there are that many children walking around right now who are on the spectrum. It's just not possible. But then I started thinking about all of the shots, all of the vaccines that we've had to give our children. 5 or 6 we had when we were young: smallpox, polio, measles, mumps. Now it's 82 shots before a child reaches the age of 18. And lo and behold, what's happened? There's been an explosion in the diagnoses of autism. Now, is a chunk of that fraud? Yeah. But what if a chunk of that is caused by all of these vaccines, so that all of these children who now have lifelong disabilities can be sponged off of in perpetuity with these programs that end up costing you and me, you and I, hundreds of billions of dollars a year? Could you think of a government or of an entity that would allow and suggest, demand our children get all of these vaccines for the sake of making them sick so they can come in with the treatment, the therapy, the outpatient clinic, whatever it is, the drugs to ostensibly treat these people? Yeah. Yes, I can. Yes, I can see that. And it makes me so angry. I'm so tired of being lied to. I'm so tired of trying to protect my kids from people who look at them as freaking guinea pig, lab rat, piggy banks. I'm so over it. And for the Democrat Party right now to think for a fraction of a second that we're not on to what they're doing, it's not just them, though. I'm so disappointed. I'm furious, in fact. I don't know how, in the good graces of God, Joe and I managed to dodge autism or some other awful, created ailment purposefully foisted on America's most precious natural resources, our children. I don't know how I dodged that bullet. But there are families out there, ladies and gentlemen, with 3 children, and all 3 have some disability, something on the spectrum. And they did that to us. And I look at that, and then I start thinking, was that just a precursor of COVID? We're going to invent something, infect you with it, come up with some ridiculous elixir that we force into your body that either kills you or gives you some lifelong disability for which you need what again? Oh, medical treatment. You know, I'm glad Hannah called. I'm glad that there's going to be a project that for the next year I can ruminate over, I can chew on, I can plan for. But for the millions of families out there who have been permanently disabled because of evil and greed and fraud and corruption and criminality, every single election is the most important election of our lives, ladies and gentlemen. And this ensuing minutes of this program are going to be dedicated to underscoring how much they tried to pull the greatest con in modern political history on all of us and how it's all blown up. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, the Democrats are just now realizing that crazy doesn't sell. The left needs you to ignore what you see and what you hear to vote their way. I've got proof next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. All right. WendyLovesGold.com. If you call WendyLovesGold.com, 855-927-5557. And you reach out to one of our people there because one of them is going to answer the phone and they know darn well who you are. They're going to be like, ooh, you're from the Wendy Bell radio program. We like you. If you open a principal protection program investment fund with them, where you get gold and silver, platinum and palladium, and you protect it. And the protection program is one of those things that says you'll never sell back your gold or silver to us for less than what you paid for it. You're going to get one of these, a Wendy Bell Radio silver coin. All right. This is 1 ounce of pure, beautiful silver. Magnifico. And if you open a gold-backed IRA from them, also, you're going to get one of these. Now, I've only signed a certain number of these coins. They're not going to last forever. Is that an incentive for you to get in touch with them? I don't know. It would be to me because I think it's very interesting. These people at WendyLovesGold.com want to give you peace of mind. They want to help you use your money for that peace of mind and save for the future, and doing it not entirely in the stock market. That's what's beautiful about Texas Bullion Exchange. 855-927-5557, an IRA-backed, gold-backed IRA. Bingo. You're going to get one of these. I love them. I won't tell you how many I signed, but it's not a lot. It's not a lot. Okay, it's 25. It's not a lot.
Wow. I didn't even get one.
No. And they're probably going to be like, yeah, about that one that you're holding up. Can we have that back? Can we have that back? Wow. No, I just broke everything. WendyLovesGold.com. I think you guys are really going to enjoy that conversation with them. They're super interesting. You walk away, you always are smarter after you talk to them too. I'm like, oh, now I get it.
Well, you're ruminating on
Tennessee.
Yeah. Michael and I have been communicating that we think it would be a fantastic idea to have a Wendy Bell Radio
golf trip to Tampa.
No.
Oh.
A University of Tennessee game.
What do you mean?
Wendy Bell Radio tailgate employee appreciation day where Michael flies in from Florida. I fly down.
Oh, you fly down
on the company dime.
Right,
and
and Bob, Chris, and Ryan do what? Set it all up for us because we wouldn't be there to do it. They would love that.
We'd take a Friday off, leave Thursday, so we could find some distilleries and breweries down there and talk work.
Maybe that's what we will do. The problem is it's so prohibitively expensive to be there during a game. It's like every other.
Well,
it's like every other college town, you know. But the SEC.
Do you hear that bird? Jeep, 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 jeep.
Oh, is that right? Is that the story we're going with? I thought we should move
Michael thought it would be a great idea.
I thought we should move the Wendy Bell Radio corporate headquarters to Knoxville. Told us during Joe Biden's presidency. Everything that they told us, you could see with your own eyes was a lie. And just his cognition alone, right? Like we all knew that. Nobody was surprised that Joe Biden had the debate performance that ended up, ending his political career, which never really started. I mean, we weren't surprised. Maybe remember, these are the people who told us it's going to be transitory. Inflation's just transitory. These are the people who changed the word vaccine. Remember how they changed what that meant? These are the people who told you, the border, it's totally secure. Everything's fabulous. It's like a rush of humanity came across millions of people, right? These are the people who are like, the virus, it stops with you. It doesn't go anywhere else if you get the vaccine, right? It's for the greater good. And Joe Biden, ladies and gentlemen, he is the smartest, sharpest guy, sharp as a tack. Well, in the next half hour, we got to talk about what Jill Biden has come out with. We're going to talk about that a little bit, where she was like, oh my gosh, I saw the debate performance and I thought Joe was having a stroke. Well, it's actually some great public relations that she's been coached in. But I want to remind you, as we open the door to all of the many ways in which they thought they were conning you, right? And you weren't being conned. Let's remember what they were telling us about good old Joe. He is just all that and a bag of donuts.
Does the president have the stamina, physically and mentally, do you think, to continue on even after 2024?
Don, you're asking me this question. Oh my gosh, he's the president of the United States. I can't even keep up with him.
The most difficult part about a meeting with President Biden is preparing for it, because he is sharp, intensely probing, and detail-oriented and focused.
I can testify because I've been working very closely with this president for the past 2 years. I've been knowing him for 30 years. And I'm telling you, this guy's tough. He's smart. He's on his game.
Joe Biden has vision. He has knowledge. He has a strategic thinker.
The president is focused. He's detail-oriented. He's always thinking about the big picture.
He is engaging. He is capable. He has an incredible record as president.
And I'm often with him on foreign trips. He's at the top of his game.
So he has a vision. He has knowledge. He has judgment. He has a strategic thinking.
I met with the president, 5 or 6 weeks ago, and he seemed fine to me.
I have complete confidence in the president. I have watched him expertly guide meetings of staff and cabinet members. I could not have more confidence in the president.
I would just tell you that I meet frequently with the president, and every single time I meet with him, he is just fine.
But he is, again,
knowledgeable, wise.
Incredibly sharp, incredibly probing, incredible command of the details.
He is sharp. He is on top of things.
There is nothing to these challenges, these suggestions that somehow he's not sharp and he's not capable.
We see Joe Biden up close. We know how attuned he is to the issue.
And you're going to see how smart he is and the experience he has.
I say his age is an asset.
Aha! He's wise.
Yes, he's wise. He has wisdom. He has experience.
And his experience, because of his age and his wisdom, has been invaluable to this country.
A lot of countries, people who've been in office a longer period of time are praised for their wisdom.
I have seen a lot of 72-year-olds not as capable as this 80-year-old.
It is hard for us to keep up with this president.
His mental acuity is great. It's fine. It's as good as it's been over the years. He's fine. All this right-wing propaganda that his mental acuity has declined is wrong.
And this kind of sense that he's not ready for this job is just a bucket of BS that's so deep, your boots will get stuck in.
They did that for 4 freaking years. 4 years. They kept the guy in the basement. They hid him from the public. He was out of town on vacation nearly half of his presidency. He held 4 cabinet meetings and almost never spoke to the press. Wow. I wonder why. Well, if you need a 20-second reminder, here you go.
We finally beat Medicare, and I'm going to continue to move until we get the total ban on the total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more Border Patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either.
Okay, so that is where we are today. The biggest, most obvious elephant in the room. This is the emperor's new clothing, is it not? And you and I, of course, because of our common sense and that we're alive and can see and listen, knew exactly what was going on. That the story of Joe Biden's true collapse is just sort of now being admitted to by the deep state isn't really today's big story. This is, if they're willing to lie to you about the leader of the free world, about his ability to do the job, about whether or not he even won, imagine all of the other stuff that they've lied to you about for years. That is the crux of today's program, because the wheels are falling off the bus, and it's been far too long in coming. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program. So Joe Biden's DOJ knew that they didn't have probable cause to raid Mar-a-Lago. Oh, yeah. Did you hear about that? And they did it anyway. Buckle up. It's next. Okay. Super excited. Yesterday, I got it. This is the hydration and liver support that I was telling you about. It's called LTV. Okay. And I was super interested in this. I have never been a big water drinker, except if it's beer and coffee. And both diuretics aren't really helping me out. But I always felt like, look, if I drink a lot of water, I have to go to the bathroom every 5 minutes. It's super annoying. And for my job, it's not really great, but I know I need more hydration. Drinking water doesn't necessarily hydrate you, because your hydration organ is your liver. And you can honestly drink water and have a dehydrated liver. And I was like, wait, what? And having a dehydrated liver has some pretty gnarly side effects. One, you feel well older than you should be. You fatigue. Your skin looks almost two-dimensional. It's like kind of dead looking, like me, right? Your hair isn't shiny. You feel no energy. And the skin thing for me is a big deal. So when This Dr. Josh got in touch with me. This is a practicing doctor with over 25 years of experience. And he told me about this hydration drink that he invented called LTV. This isn't some electrolyte thing. It's not packed with a bunch of sugar. In fact, I look at it, it's got 0 carbs, 0 calories, 0 sugar, 0. It's a citrus blend, a citrus flavor. Put it in water, which is what I did in addition to my collagen and my MCT wellness. We shook it up, and it's got a delicious, delicious citrus flavor.
It's lemon lime.
It is. Dr. Josh says this is what is in it that has helped thousands of people, and this is different than a lot of other things that are out there. LTV combines clinical dose marine electrolytes with taurine to help your cells actually hold on to water. Plus, he has milk thistle and dandelion root to support your liver's natural detox function. They also sent this to me. It's called Ultra Liver. It's for liver and gallbladder health. And I was like, okay. So I'm super geeked about this. We've started drinking this. This is day number 1. And I'm like, if you would like to join us and try this hydration, talking about down to the cellular level of your liver, that's what this is. LTV, okay? And you can get it. Let me make sure I get this right by going to drinkltv.com/Wendy. drinkltv.com/Wendy. This is what I'm doing. Okay. I don't know how it's going to work. I don't know how I'm going to feel. Today is literally it's sip number 3 now.
I drank all mine already.
Did you?
It's tasty.
It is tasty.
You know what it tastes like? You guys remember those freeze pops?
Oh, you're
green
right.
Ones?
You're right.
But like not like real sugar. It's faint, but it's good.
This is and the
Jello, lemon lime Jello.
The reviews. I read many of the reviews last night. Bunches of 5-star reviews. The number one thing that I heard was that it doesn't taste fake. It doesn't taste like some fake flavor. I have to agree with that.
No, it doesn't.
It's very delicious. So we're super excited. We're going to keep you in the loop if our Chuck juice comes back, because that might be in the works. Chuck Defense, right?
Don't get my hopes up.
I know.
I saw the email and I'm like,
you really, really loved that.
I thought it was good.
You really, really loved that. You drank that, and I drank Dr. Gundry.
I went through 8 jars of it. Of Chuck juice.
Did you really?
Yes. They sent the 3-pack. They sent 2 3-packs to you. I drank it all. Someone sent Kate one. I drank that. And then I had another one at home that I drank that. So what's that? That's 8.
I'm just going to say, if I'm going to drink a couple glasses of water a day, and they're like, you should drink 8 glasses. I'm like, I'm not a fish. But if I put my MCT and collagen in one, and the next glass I drink is going to be this LTV, I'm all about it. So if you'd like to drink ltv.com/Wendy and join us, I'd be happy to have you. We can do it together and see what we think. Up to you. And they were super excited to be a part of this program because, again, I don't know how many people have 8 million podcast downloads. Toolsy said to me yesterday that we average 5,000 a day. 5,000. Thursdays tend to be really good. We tend to get 10 to 15,000 on Thursdays. That's crazy. That's you. And that all our 8 million podcast downloads, if you take the top leaderboard, we were number 6 yesterday. Thank you. If you add up all the other 9 followers, all of their followers, we have more podcast downloads than they have followers combined, which is very exciting.
I will have you know that I already put Chuck juice in the description box below.
Oh, you did?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you're ready.
I'm ready.
Brock is ready.
I'm trying to push them.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Well, I really liked Native Hydrate for a long time. And then they went to somebody else, so they did something else. And then they came back to me with the collagen, which is fantastic. But now if they wanted to do it, I'd be like, sorry, it's a conflict.
Yeah,
we have a conflict.
All in on Chuck juice. I'll do the Chuck juice.
Okay. Okay.
I officially endorse.
I love the Dr. Gundry's and the collagen. I really do.
How many people can kick ass from the grave?
Chuck can.
He can. He kicks over the headstone, pulls out, and starts chucking Chuck juice at people.
Oh, this story is wild. What's going on? Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. I'm just so tired of being lied to, aren't you? You know, and I think that probably is one of the things that is galvanizing so much momentum behind Spencer Pratt in Los Angeles running for mayor. I love that he is essentially nonpartisan. He's not running necessarily representing a party. He's representing angry Angelenos, and fed up Democrats are getting behind him. People are tired of being lied to. People are tired of folks stepping forward and supposedly winning elections and then doing great harm to cities or to establishments or to traditions or what have you. Did you guys hear about the town in Massachusetts that has canceled the 4th of July 250th celebration of America? Yeah. We're going to talk about that. Like, we're done with people who either mismanage our money or who just lie to our faces and expect to keep getting away with it with no consequences. Like, there are consequences for your behavior. And they're so used to riding above that because the machine has protected them for so long. But you know what? Everybody has a breaking point. And as John Fetterman says, it's country over party, right? It's country over party. And this country is tired with the way the parties have been run, period. So this story comes out, John Solomon, Just the News. He's great. And it's all about the raid at Mar-a-Lago that happened in August of 2022. We were told at the time, of course, that Donald Trump was behaving beyond the parameters of his office. He took classified secrets. Did he take the nuclear codes? Nicole Wallace and her no-lip face was like, oh my God. Every damn thing that they have said to us has been a bald-faced lie. I've had enough. And apparently now I am no longer in the minority because the speed with which a lot of these narratives are unraveling is truly dizzying. So John Solomon with the details now about Joe Biden's Department of Justice, knowing before they went in to raid Mar-a-Lago and rifle through Melania's lingerie. Can you imagine being Donald Trump and knowing that people did that? You'd want to throw somebody down the stairs. They knew they did not have probable cause to do that. And now the documents that are coming out that prove inner memorandum among attorneys, I'm really worried about what you guys are doing, said somebody very high up in the Department of Justice under Joe Biden. Here's John Solomon with this story. Don't talk to me about weaponizing Democrats. Don't tell me that this president is using his Justice Department to seek revenge. No, it's called justice. And when you break the law by pointing fingers and creating fake news about somebody else, I'm sorry, but I believe the wheels of justice should absolutely run you down. Here's John Solomon.
Reaction to the story that we broke in the last 24 hours. President Trump himself reacted to it, socialized the story. But we now have a second piece of evidence that the Justice Department under Joe Biden knew that its raid on Mar-a-Lago was bad. A couple months ago, we told you that the FBI had memos saying that they did not believe they had probable cause to raid Mar-a-Lago, but they did it anyways. They went into the president's home looking for allegedly classified documents. Well, a couple days after that raid, one of Merrick Garland's top advisors, someone he personally brought in to make sure that they stayed ethical in their investigations of President Trump, wrote an email saying, I don't believe we had the right to go raid Mar-a-Lago. In fact, I've been worrying about it ever since I found out about it. Why? As she noted, and as we reported at the time back in 2022, she believed President Trump may have declassified the documents before he left office and therefore had every right to possess those documents at Mar-a-Lago. That is a smoking gun. Those two documents together could potentially create an overt act in a conspiracy case alleging that President Trump's civil liberties were violated. That is exactly what Joe DeGenova and the team in Miami and Fort Pierce are looking at. Today, that team was in Washington meeting briefly with the Attorney General, Todd Blanche. We'll have a lot more on that as the next few days unfold.
With the Attorney General, were you? A newly surfaced memo revealing that a senior Biden DOJ official raised serious red flags about the FBI's raid on Mar-a-Lago before the ink was even dry on the search warrant. And Merrick Garland's department plowed ahead anyway. Patty Stemler, 30-year Department of Justice veteran and former chief of the Criminal Appellate Section, fired off this email just 2 days after the August 8th, 2022 raid, warning that the entire legal theory was shaky. They knew. They did not care. Nothing says blind pursuit of justice like ignoring your senior counsel when she tells you, hey, this case has major problems. I'm telling you what really inspires confidence in our institutions. You know, Merrick Garland, he lied how many different ways? And now the DOJ has launched a criminal investigation, not just into that, but into, remember E. Jean Carroll? Oh, yeah, that old what? That old bag who said that Donald Trump tried to what? Rape her in a department store dressing room? Really? This is the story, ladies and gentlemen, that nobody believed. You have the President of the United States, who at the time was a private citizen, but was a real estate tycoon. He was building an empire. The Trump brand is known all around the world and was well before he became president. He was a billionaire married to a freaking supermodel. And he looked at that scraggly bag of bones, E. Jean Carroll, and was like, you, I must have you. Do you really see Donald Trump walking into a department store to go buy himself a scarf? I mean, like, really? It was all totally ridiculous. And of course, CNN, which gave this story so much oxygen. E. Jean Carroll, who won some $5 million defamation lawsuit, and Donald Trump was supposed to be shelling out like $80 million for the rape or the assault. That never happened. Here's CNN last night, forced to cover their own bogosity.
Justice Department, CNN is learning, has launched a new criminal investigation into one of Trump's enemies, E. Jean Carroll. Now, E. Jean Carroll was the former magazine columnist who accused President Donald Trump of sexual assault. Ended up being that he was liable for sexual abuse. The source is telling CNN that the investigation now is focused on whether Carroll committed perjury during her 2 civil lawsuits against the president. Paula Reed is breaking the story, and she's out front. And Paula, what else are you learning about this? I mean, there was obviously a verdict here.
That's right. And here, Aaron, this is the latest move by the Justice Department to take action against one of President Trump's long-standing foes. Our sources tell us that this investigation is focused on a 2022 deposition that Carroll gave, where she said that she had not received any outside funding. Now, her lawyers later told the judge that she had, in fact, received funding for legal fees and expenses from billionaire Reid Hoffman. The judge overseeing this case ultimately said there were no issues with her credibility and blocked Trump lawyers from asking about this at trial. Now, Carroll currently has multiple legal battles with Trump currently pending, including one before the Supreme Court. And notably, Aaron, the Supreme Court has deferred 12 times on a decision whether they want to take up that case. Now, over at the Justice Department, Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche, I am told, has recused from this case because he worked on one of the appeals related to the Carroll case. Now, I'm told he has not attended any meetings or been in any discussions about this investigation. The case is currently being handled out of the U.S. Attorney's Office in Chicago. Now, tonight, the Justice Department issued a statement saying, quote, "We can confirm that no U.S. Attorney's Office has declined to investigate any case relating to the subject matter of CNN's inquiry. We will not comment beyond that." Now, Carol's team tonight declined to comment.
Shocker. Why? Why did they decline to comment? Because she made it up? Maybe. This is how CNN.com covers it. The probe is the latest move in the department's ceaseless and somewhat strained efforts to meet Trump's demands to target his long-standing personal foes. Is it really some revenge? Or is it called justice yet again? Let's remember, in 2022, May of 2022, New York Governor Kathy Hochul signed the Adult Survivors Act. So weird, the timing, isn't it? Which created a 1-year look-back window, allowing adult survivors of sexual assault to file civil suits, even if the normal deadline had already expired, which in E. Jean Carroll's case, it had. And then what happened just a few months later? Oh, there she goes. She comes in with this fantastic story that nobody with half of a brain would have ever even contemplated as being plausible. Remember E. Jean Carroll getting very close to Anderson Cooper and saying, I think some people think rape is sexy. I'm like, I don't know what people you're talking about, but I don't know any of those. And even Anderson was like, ew. Look, this whole ridiculous, farcical chapter of American history, it will forever go down in the annals of America's history as the biggest fraud, the biggest scam, the most ridiculous set of lies ever foisted upon the American people. None of it made any sense. None of it was even remotely within the parameters of reason. And yet every single day, people like Jake Tapper and that broad over there at CNN and all of the other hack media networks dutifully pounded Donald Trump into the ground as though he was the one who was the problem. Donald Trump was the one who was the victim. Give me one case that they were able to use and sue him successfully for. Beyond all of that, ladies and gentlemen, you and I both know the real story here was the weaponization of justice. When you have judges who are so partisan that they will bend the law, they will crap on the Constitution, and they will twist the reality inside their own courtrooms under their black robes so that they can get an aha. You've got a problem, my friends. And that is where we are. The great American cleanup. President Trump and company flushing out all of the suck for you to see so the cleanup can take place so that it never freaking happens again. Period. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program. You know, it is totally okay to laugh at the Democrats' ridiculosity because it's literally all they are running on. Benny Johnson and Jesse Waters last night. Oh my gosh, it's a clip you got to wait and see next. They're hilarious. It was actually amusing. And you almost have to laugh at this because it's so ridiculous. But I'm still so angry. I'm so angry about all of it, aren't you? I know I am. All right. What do we want to talk about? Let's talk about Healthy Cell. Lots of talk about getting things into the cellular level of your body. Certainly important. But how do you do that? You know, how do you get something into your bloodstream and then into down to the cells that are really the building blocks of everything that we are? If you want to provide nourishment for something, if you want to provide strength, you want to do something, getting it to that cellular level is complicated. And what we find is the older we get, the ability of our bodies to process pills and capsules and whatnot, by and large, wanes dramatically. And so what you end up doing is paying a lot of money for supplements that you don't end up getting the benefits from. You don't absorb them. Healthy Cell was created with this idea that if we put things in a microgel, so it's like a, how would I keep saying it's like a Go-Gurt or like an applesauce or something that you would squeeze into your mouth. That way, that is much more digestible and absorbable by the body, and the nutrients get to your cells the way they need to get. And That's the secret sauce of Healthy Cell. HealthyCell.com/Wendy. Many products to choose from. They also have bundles, which I think are really great. And you hear me talking about the focus and the recall. And Brock and I have both spoken highly about the REM sleep. It's just a great sleep aid that doesn't make you feel like you got hit by a truck the next day. Beautiful. They have an AM PM. Wake up with the focus and recall. Put your night to bed, with the REM sleep. You've got a bundle there, and they sell them at a discount. Great company. I love the people who run it, and they so enjoy your support. So thank you. HealthyCell.com/Wendy. HealthyCell.com/Wendy. 20% off your first order. You might as well fill up your cart. You're going to love it. Love, love, love it. All right, let's see what you guys are doing. I do gulp loud. Now that one person said that to me, now I'm completely aware of it. I can't help it. I sit right next to right? You guys are killing it on the Rumbles, and with only 4,200 people or so watching, 210 on X. Hi, thank you. I'm so glad you're here. Share it with people. Thank you so much for that. 1.58, only about 400 to go, 300 to go.
Show them your thumb.
Oh, yeah. This is what you got to do. You hit that thumbs up button underneath my face.
In your face.
In your face. And that's the Rumble. That's how you get to say if you like what we're doing or not. So I'm grateful for that. I do like this.
It's great by itself. I didn't mix all of them, but
I'm drinking it more quickly than I normally do. So.
I'm letting the ice melt to make sure I get it all.
Telling you. All right, so coming up after the break, so in the second hour, we're going to talk about Dr. Taco Jill. Do you remember how they told us after Joe Biden's terrible debate performance that he had a cold? He took some cold medicine.
Or stroke, or cancer. He's had everything.
Yeah, what about that? Inquiring minds want to know. Remember when he had prostate cancer when he left? Don't you notice how everybody who leaves gets a boot, has some ailment that you're supposed to feel bad about? Now Pam Bondi has thyroid cancer. Is that right? Tulsi Gabbard's husband has bone cancer. Joe Biden's got metastatic prostate cancer. Same thing that Scott Adams had, but apparently not as bad, even though it's stage 4. Okay.
Joe's way with it and healthy.
The secret to, I believe, a happy life. Who was it? Dick Van Dyke. Dick Van Dyke is about to turn 100, right? And I saw an article yesterday about him saying what is 2 big keys, successful things that he's done to live a long life. And it's really all about positivity and not holding grudges and being angry. And it kind of hit me across the face because I'm angry and I hold grudges. And I'm holding a big one right now. Like, I want to be able to laugh at that mashup we played for you during the first segment, where it's, Corinne Jean-Pierre, Dawn, you're asking me about the president. He's so great. I have a hard time keeping up with him. It's a little amusing, but it's never going to be funny to me because of the seriousness of what they did and inflicted on this country, but specifically what they did to Donald Trump. Can you imagine being public enemy number 1 for 100 million people? Can you imagine being literally in the crosshairs? I can't. And I wish I had Dick Van Dyke's great attitude to just be like, you can't let everything get under your skin, and just have a really great perspective always. You know what? I fail an awful lot at that, which is why I think the humor here between Jesse Waters on Fox News and Benny Johnson, who we've had on, played many of his clips recently. I think it's funny because it is okay to laugh and remember what they did, as long as we believe that there is a system of justice that will deliver some kind of a punishment. This particular give and go is about the seriousness of James Tallarico as the Democrat candidate for Senate in Texas, as a formidable opponent to Republican Ken Paxton. And they sure had a good time. And it's worthwhile because you need to smile every now and again, or else you'll just want to throw everybody down the stairs. Here you go.
Let's go to Texas. Tallarico. Does he have a shot?
The last time that Democrats tried to flip a Texas Senate seat blue, they lost in a landslide running a guy named Beto O'Rourke. And now they're back again with Beta O'Rourke. This guy is the Dylan Mulvaney Bud Light ad of political campaigns. Clearly, Michelle Obama has more testosterone than Tallarico. James Tallarico is a guy who could be played by Elliot Page in a new Christopher Nolan movie or a Subaru ad. It is really embarrassing. And their counter to his veganism is posting this cringe photo of James Tallarico eating barbecue, specifically a rib, with a napkin. It's so low T, it's almost criminal, but also it's so unbelievably unnatural. It looks like a Chris Christie on a Stairmaster. James Tallarico doesn't even know how to eat Texas barbecue. This is going to be a nightmare for Democrats who thought we'd be pining for the days of the calm and sensible and logical Jasmine Crockett to be back in the race. But we're stuck with James Tallarico, and I'm no political consultant, Jesse, but here's 3 things you could ask him to defeat him on a debate stage. He says there's 6 genders. Well, why don't you name them? You say you have a girlfriend. Why don't you name her? And you say that Jesus is pro-abortion. So how do you square that with thou shalt not kill? The 10 Commandments, something I'm pretty sure that Jesus wanted you to uphold. So, once again, the reason why Democrats are failing is because they've given up on masculinity. They've given up on testosterone. They've given up entirely for effeminate, estrogenic, catty, and totally embarrassing candidates like Beto and Beta here. And most importantly, the American people know what leadership looks like. It looks like President Trump winning 119 out of 119 at 100% endorsement record. Donald Trump is winning across the board. He's showing strength. He's showing calm under fire. And he's showing what the American public want, which is clarity and not confusion.
And a picture of James Tallarico holding ribs with a napkin. Brock, what was the Babylon Bee that you were talking about? Do you guys remember when Chuck Schumer was pretending that he's all hip and he's at the barbecue? You know, he's out there grilling for the family and he's putting a slice of American cheese on a frozen patty on his barbecue. And what did it say?
Something to the effects of no one shows up to his cookout because they all died from E. coli last year.
I mean, we have to be able to laugh at how absolutely absurd this whole chapter of lies and deceit and bald-faced ridiculousness has been. And the ridiculousness is about to crank up when Jill Biden, who needs to sell a book because apparently the Bidens are on hard times now, makes quite an amazing comment about Joe Biden's debate performance. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. It's totally crazy. It's crazy. You know what's not crazy? And I think this is one of the more beautiful things I've ever received as a testimonial. And you know, when our friend Diane went to go see Dr. Simkovich, we didn't know if she was going to be helped. We did not know if her really debilitating essential tremor that she had for literally 40 years of her life, is that in any way something that could be affected by the treatment that Dr. Simkovich gives people at the Simkovich Concussion Institute? Is it something that can be remedied without surgery, without drugs, with literally a chiropractor's adjustment in her face, in her mouth, the soft palate, moving things around? Could it happen? And it did. Like I had no expectations. And she was willing to try. She's like, so far, all the drugs and stuff I've taken have done nothing. And she writes, you know, one day a month after going to see Dr. Simkovich. Well, she says, she's talking about me. She's like, my friend Wendy offered to connect me with Dr. Simkovich. For 5 years, I've heard her speak of him, but I never thought it would apply to me. Well, we're talking about people who've suffered traumatic brain injuries and definite concussions, people who have debilitating headaches, all get phenomenal relief, life-changing relief in a short amount of time, like a week, going to see Dr. Simkovich. She says, after trying medication with no results, I didn't believe that they were of any, there was anybody that could help me around. But Wendy nudged me, and so I made the appointment and I started going for therapy. On the first day of my 4-day treatment, I felt like the weight of the tremors released into calmness. I walked out of there that day with a completely different feeling, and no joke, I actually hopped out of there. After completing the treatment, I've experienced a 75 to 80% improvement, which is life-changing. My hope is that my story helps others recognize that there is hope. And she said, I truly enjoyed getting to know Dr. Simkovich, his staff, and the friends in the waiting room along the way. He is the real deal. I will forever be grateful. You know, you've got nothing to lose. Diane had nothing to lose. The challenge was not getting her hopes up because she had so many times before and nothing had helped. And he was very upfront with her and said, I don't know. I'm hopeful, but we'll give it a shot. Let's give it our best shot and think positively. And she said that she feels 75 to 80% better. Like 412-366-3700. 412-366-3700. Simkovich, concussioninstitute.com. The real deal. And the testimonials I get are just, they're off the charts. Please don't suffer if you know you've been hurt or you have tremors or you have issues like that. Call, see if he'd be willing to roll the dice on you too. You don't know unless you try. It's like this toe of mine. When Brock and I started going to a chiropractor, he went and he's like, you should come and see if there's anything they can do to move what had been like a frozen, like my toe does not move. And it really debilitates I can't pivot. I couldn't really play pickleball if I wanted to. Golf was kind of a struggle, walking up hills and whatnot, because I had none of that like flexion. And so I went to this chiropractor and he was fixing Brock. And he's like, all right, well, we're going to try these 3 things on you: red light therapy, percussion therapy, and laser therapy. And in 4 sessions in 1 month, I don't walk with a limp anymore and I'm virtually pain-free. Right?
And you yelled at him.
Who knows? Yeah. What did he say?
I don't think I can repeat.
No. What did he ask? Tell me where.
Like something like, tell me where it hurts. Because you have to break up the scar tissue. And
that's the
bone right there. For the love of you.
No, I would never have said that. I said, it's right there, you son of a bitch.
Oh, that's it.
There. He's like, tell me where it hurts. And I'm like, all that.
Right there, you son of a bitch. And like loud enough that everyone could hear it. The one lady in the back chair was laughing.
I couldn't help it. It was rude and I'm sorry. But I mean, like,
he laughed.
I don't know. I just think that's why I've gotten so much into all of these various supplements. Each one does something, and I'm willing to try anything that's not a pharmaceutical product that might benefit me. And I know for a fact I don't drink enough water. I know for a fact I don't take care of things that I should. And that's why this whole journey has been so eye-opening. I love it.
Yeah, I love that red light laser therapy because, and I wrote him a review.
We both did.
Because it lets you live your life while healing you, which is the big thing. Like, I mean, you get surgery on your toe, you got to keep it ice, put it up. Like, they're like, here's the treatment. You have to move. You just can't lay there, you know?
I just think that there are ways that we can connect each other with healing, like Leah Prida from Ohio. Leah, if you're watching, she sends me stuff all the time. She's out into holistic stuff. She's into herbs and essential oils and stuff. And she hears that, you know, I'm struggling with this or that. And then something will arrive at my door and it's this. And I'm like, I love you. It's wonderful to think outside of the box because There's a reason why the Amish and the Mennonite and all them are so healthy, right? Because they're not institutionalized in all the same jazz that we have to for our kids to go to school and for us to be good people. It's for the greater good. It's I love it. And you guys are so into that with us. And I appreciate you more than you know. Let's go. Let's see the rumbles. Ugh. 230. We have 2 hours to get to 2.5. I'd love to get 275 today. That would be wonderful. Thank you guys for being here. By the way, how interesting that Reid Hoffman, who's buddies with Jeffrey Epstein, would fund E. Jean Carroll. Isn't that weird? Like, who would do that? Why would Kathy Hochul change the law?
Well,
I don't know.
You know who connected them? George Conway or whatever.
Is that right? Kellyanne Conway's husband.
Yeah.
He's a giant wiener. What a wanker.
What a wanker.
What a wanker. Taco Jill.
I thought he was having a stroke. So I sat there and we went to a Waffle House afterwards. Yeah. Oh, great.
Gosh. And Abby Phillip is such a moron.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell, America's anchor mom, fighting for America 1 hour at a time. Welcome to the family.
We're going to win so much. We're going to win at every level. We're going to win economically. We're going to win with the economy. We're going to win with military. We're going to win with healthcare and for our veterans. We're going to win with every single facet. We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
3 hours of bold truth and excellence. You've just signed up for the WBR Army. Strap in. This is the Wendy Bell radio program.
Everything about Joe and Jill Biden I found offensive while they were allegedly in the White House. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. Everything Jill said, I'm very critical. I admit it. I didn't like them. I don't believe in them. I think he's a hack. I think she's, she wanted to live in the Oval Office. She wanted to be in the White House. She wanted to be the first lady. This is one of the things that I love about Donald Trump and Melania. And Melania, I'm sure she'd rather be at Mar-a-Lago. I'm sure she'd rather be in Florida. And they make many trips there, and they're there every weekend. But they live in the White House because it is an honor. Jill Biden wanted to be in the White House because the drapes matched her horrible clothing. And it's so curious how Dr. Taco Jill, remember when she laid that egg over Cinco de Mayo? She not only is a pathological liar who is, I should accuse her of elder abuse. Well, what they did, what she and Hunter allowed to happen to Joe Biden, I'm by no means defending the guy. The guy had no idea what was going on. There's a reason he was never out. We know this, right? They lied. They used the auto pen. Joe was not available. He was not cognizant. He was not capable. There's a reason why you don't have press conferences, because you can't. It's not because you don't have time. You have time to drag your stupid beach chair across the beach in Rehoboth and lie out with your nasty whatever, lying in the sun asleep while, Afghanistan is blowing up. I have a seething loathing for Jill Biden because I think what she allowed to happen, no partner who loves their spouse, regardless of their blind ambition, would ever do and allow. And she did. And so she's apparently hard up for cash. I guess Jill's out on the prowl trying to make some money for the family since the Biden crime family syndicate's closed up. And Hunter's art all burned in that fire. Where are they getting their money? I don't know. So Jill's got a new book she's putting out. And she says in this sit-down interview with CBS that she this is a great coaching, that she was She thought that Joe during the debate performance with President Trump was having a stroke. Okay. Let's just get to what she said. This is Abby Phillip over at CNN because they'll play the clip within this clip. And, call me ridiculous here, but Abby Phillip pretending as though she's offended by Jill Biden in these comments. Abby, you're one of the carriers of their water. CNN, MS Now, you guys are the ones who created this fake story that he was ever elected in charge of anything. And now you're going to stand back and be like, oh, what? So he really wasn't all that sharp and fabulous? Really? Here's Abby Phillip with a panel on CNN. It's a joke.
Tonight, a stunning admission from Jill Biden about her husband's debate performance. Take a listen.
Were you horrified as you saw it unfold?
I wasn't horrified, I was frightened because I had never, ever seen Joe like that before or since. Never.
Or since?
Yes. Or
You've
since.
never seen him like
never.
that?
No.
What happened?
I don't know what happened. I mean, as I watched it, I thought, oh my God, he's having a stroke. And it scared me to death.
That interview comes just weeks before the release of the former First Lady's new memoir, and it's the first time that we've heard her express any concern about that debate that ultimately ended Joe Biden's 2024 campaign. But that stands in stark contrast to what Jill Biden had to say just moments after the debate.
Joe, you did such a great job. You answered every question. You knew all the facts. And let me ask the crowd, what did Trump do?
Even Joe Biden seems a little amused by that, that clip. Jamel, okay, your instant reaction to the Jill Biden.
We talked about this a little bit in the last segment. When you lie to people right to their face, they have a tendency to not trust you. Mm-hmm. And, a lot of people knew something was wrong with Joe Biden. I went to a dinner in Detroit, an AACP dinner. He was the guest speaker. His speech was great, but seeing him just make the walk to the stage, I was concerned. I was like, hey, this dude doesn't look right.
It's so fascinating now how they're like only now beginning to connect the dots. It's like Jake Tapper with his book. I didn't notice anything was wrong before. I heard nothing until the debate. And then all of a sudden, 80 days later, here's my book. You're like, here it is, Original Sin. And he puts it out every single show. If you haven't heard my book, here's my book. And then he gets all these dozens of people who are like, well, actually, he really couldn't do anything. We never saw him. He wasn't around. He was in his hyperbaric chamber. Whatever he was. It's so ridiculously disingenuous. And all of these players who lied to us for years, they don't deserve a shred of credibility or respect ever again. They're laughing about it. They're laughing about Jill Biden talking to a clearly befuddled, infantile-brained Joe Biden who stands there like he's Mitch McConnell, like he's got that statue. And Jill Biden's like, you answered every question, boo, 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 right? And I'm like, oh my gosh, what is going on? And they, after the debate, didn't cover it even remotely fairly. It's exhausting in how ridiculous it is. And it's insulting to your brain power, to your intelligence, and to your common sense. This is very interesting because speaking about Mushmouth Joe, I love that Jill Biden thought he was having a stroke. But then they went to a Waffle House and campaigned a little bit. She didn't rush up on stage, make sure he was okay, right? They had some photo ops to do and what have you. That's what a wife does when she thinks her husband is having a medical emergency. Hell, Brock isn't my husband, and I've been around him when he's had seizures. And I'll tell you what, if you're afraid for somebody that you care about, everything stops. The show, everything. If you've got a flight to catch, you're doing it stops. It's over. We're focusing on you, making sure you're okay. And she wants us to believe that I'd never seen him like that before, ever. And it was weird. After that, he never acted that way again. It was just for those 90 minutes on stage. And you're like, pal, what a bad, bad lie. So as this is going on, Todd Blanche is now kicking around going after the Hur tapes, right? Special counsel Robert Hur want to get those tapes out, the classified documents that were found in Joe Biden's everywhere, like with the professor and the candlestick in the library, in a greasy box next to the Corvette in the garage, right? Oh, how many boxes of classified crap did Joe Biden have? And then versus Donald Trump, stuff that they planted on him and other things that he had properly declassified, but the media ran with for months. This is where we are, the wheels coming off the story. The New York Post's Lydia Moynihan gives, the Emmy to Taco Jill's public relation handlers for coaching her on sitting down with this fluff CBS News reporter who's done several easy stories with Jill Biden to create this story like, oh, I was so worried about him. Listen.
I actually was pretty impressed with the excuse that the highly paid PR advisors came up with for her and how she was so practiced and how she delivered it to a very credulous reporter who's done a number of puff pieces on Joe Biden over the years. But of course, it does not align with the reality. And if she was actually worried that her husband was having a stroke, she would rush him to Walter Reed. And instead, she had to stand up and say, oh, you did such a wonderful job. And then when a reporter asked the White House, did he have a neurological scan? Is he okay? The White House, of course, totally ridiculed this reporter. And the reality is aides have been on the record, off the record, saying this was a kind of common occurrence. George Clooney wrote an op-ed about it. We saw it, corn pop. But I understand Jill Biden. She liked bopping around in Air Force One. She liked the Vogue covers. She didn't want to give it up. And I think this is the most clever excuse I could think of.
Now, if everything's hunky-dory, nothing's wrong, then why would Joe Biden's lawyers be suing the DOJ to stop the release of Robert Hur's audio recordings of Joe Biden clearly not making any sense? Fox News picked up on the story hours ago.
Former President Joe Biden is suing the Department of Justice to block the release of transcripts and audio files of multiple interviews he gave a ghostwriter for a 2017 book. The DOJ plans to release the material to the House Judiciary Committee as soon as June 15th. Biden's lawyers write President Biden, like every American, has a right to privacy and personal conversations he had within his own home. That is particularly true here, where the department obtained this information through a criminal investigation. That criminal investigation, led by then special counsel Robert Hur in 2023, probed classified documents found in Biden's private office and his Delaware garage. Biden was cleared of any criminal wrongdoing. Biden sat for multiple interviews in 2016 and 2017 with his ghostwriter Mark Swanitzer for a book about Biden's late son, Beau. Those tapes were turned over to Hur as part of his investigation. Biden's spokesman tells Fox the 46th president granted the interviews on the condition that they would not be made public, adding what's happening now isn't about transparency, it's about politics. The House committee has asked for the files for 2 years for what a source there calls general oversight. President Trump asked about the potential release.
Maybe there's some constitutional reason. I don't know. I would like to see what he has to say.
Transparency. Let everybody hear. Let everybody see. Let you make up your mind. Democrats, it's all about theatrics. It's about hiding the truth. It's about alternative narratives and throwing people off the scent and accusing somebody else of doing what they're doing. And it's, again, all unraveling. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, don't dust off your Independence Day sparklers just yet. Did you hear about the town about an hour west of Boston that's canceled the 4th of July? Oh, that's not the worst of it. Next. So Donald Trump is the one who took the classified documents. Oh, except now we're realizing that he had declassified everything and that Merrick Garland and the DOJ did not have probable cause to go in there. And beyond that, they created the story by putting papers all over the ground and their own cover sheets that said classified, top secret. Those weren't real. Meantime, Joe Biden did have classified secrets, top secret documents, and things that were a very important national intelligence concern. And they want to put a lid on it. They don't want you to ever know. It's like Pfizer, 50 years. Don't let anybody know about the side effects. I'll let us all be dead before they find that out because they'll want to. What'd you say?
They told Joe they were coming.
Oh, yeah.
There was no shoot to kill order.
Do you think they went through Jill's unnies?
Granny panties.
Yeah, like the underwear I wore when I was pregnant, when they get out of the dryer and you're like this.
That's a lot of folding.
Yes, because it looked like a fly. It was huge. Because you're supposed to wear them up like right underneath your chest, right? Because that's your whole belly. It's a good look. Let me tell you. I'm like, how you doing? And with twins, it's even better.
How did you find a pair to get over to twins?
I don't know. I only had them for 7 months. So I thank God, because I'm not so sure they had Fatty Bobalatti big ass drawers for me at that point. All right, what do we want to talk about? What? Disinfectwithsniper.com. So I was at the gym this morning with my friend Mary Beth, and she has little chihuahuas, and I don't like chihuahuas. I hate chihuahuas. I think they're, but now I love chihuahuas because hers are so cute, and it pisses me off. I'm like, damn you! Force me to love your stupid dogs. But the new one pees everywhere, and she's super persnickety about it. So she's in the she's in the basement where we're working out, and there's this long carpet where we have to push this sled thing because she's a masochist. And we walk back there and Mary Beth goes, oh, it smells like pee back here. I'm like, it does? She's like, Rosie urinates back here and it just drives me. I'm like, I got something for you. It's called Knockout. She's like, what? I'm like, oh my gosh, it is the greatest deodorizer ever. She's like, really? And I'm like, yeah. I mean, you obviously want to clean your carpet, but in between cleanings, spraying that on the carpet, on the surface, and letting it just settle in takes away the smell of urine. You've got a baby with a diaper genie, which sausage links all of the poopy diapers in a contraption of death. You spray that with Knockout after you take it out, odor goes away. You have something that is smoky, cooking something, or you've got tobacco smoke smell. Pew, 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 pew. Mildew, smell of yuck like that, it destroys it. Knockout, N-O-K, Knockout. You can get it by going to disinfectwithsniper.com. So I have an extra one at home, and I'm going to give it to her. And I know she's going to be like, wait, where did you get that? What's the promo code? No promo code. Just disinfectwithsniper.com. And while you're there, if you're looking at your roses, your rhododendron, your
that's what I'm doing this weekend.
Azaleas, right? You're going to replant some stuff.
No, I replant them. I'm going to get some of that dirt.
This is the fertilizer that our friend has put on the Disinfect with Sniper website, Coast of Maine. And he's put it at a pretty nice discount for you. Kind of bundled some things together so you can get them at a good cost. I love when he finds things. Disinfectwithsniper.com. Everything from Knockout to fertilizer.
And the 250 flag, don't buy it yet. Rumor is it's going on sale in June.
Ooh.
But you didn't hear it from
okay,
me.
what?
Yeah, I didn't say.
As citizens of this wonderful republic, we get taxed coming and going. We get taxed on every single thing we do. We pay taxes on our taxes. And so when you finally have a moment to sit back and celebrate something significant like America's birthday, the 250th birthday of this great country on the 4th of July, for your town to say to you, I'm sorry, yeah, we're not going to do that anymore. You're like, look, we pay for everything. This is one family celebration that we can all agree on. that should unite us regardless of our backgrounds. Well, I got to tell you about this Massachusetts town. It didn't just cancel the 4th of July celebration. It's now refusing to refund $1 million that people gave in donations to have a 250th birthday. And you're like, wait, what? Say what? An historic Massachusetts enclave has come under fire for canceling its planned 4th of July celebration after the residents voted to cut funding for the local police and fire departments while town officials refused to refund the donations. Whoa. The town of Rutland, I guess it's like 9,400 people or so. It's about an hour west of Boston. The town of Rutland, Massachusetts, announced this week that it had scrapped the majority of its festivities for the nation's 250th birthday, including the annual fireworks display, the parade and concert, over safety concerns due to its law enforcement shortage. We understand how much this tradition means to our community. Do you guys think that the 4th of July is a tradition? I don't think of it as like Christmas or Easter. I think of the 4th of July as something that's a mandatory pride thing. It's the one thing that brings people from all walks of life together in celebration of liberty and freedom and independence. That's what the 4th of July is, right? We understand how much this tradition means to our community and how disappointing this news is for many families. Town officials said in a statement, despite properly fundraising for the Independence Day bash, Rutland faced an inadequate number of public safety officers to work the event, while also safely responding to the town's emergencies. Really, due to anticipated staffing limitations, our police and fire chiefs have determined that they cannot safely support both the event and routine emergency services at the same time. Moving forward under these conditions would put both attendees and the broader community at risk. Really? There's no brainstorming. There was no let's get together and have a powwow, everybody. This is a big day. 4th of July is a huge day. What do you think we can do to safely make sure we can have this, right? And still maintain any emergency needs in the city? Nothing, no conversation. And then the $1 million that had been donated for signs and for other things. Yeah, the city's like, we're just going to kind of sit on that. We're not going to refund that. So sorry, not sorry. Literally, that's the conversation. And then I was looking at all of the feedback from it, and people were like, so bummed. Oh, that stinks. I'm telling you what, you guys, this is it. They bleed you dry. They ask you to pay a surcharge on top of a tax, on top of a levy. You come home with 45% of your pay at the end of it, if you're lucky, to scrape by and to try to make ends meet. And what you want is one night to celebrate what? Everything that it means to be free, to live on the greatest place on planet Earth. And your township officials are like, nah, sorry, and we're going to keep the money. That's no different than what's going on in California. Overtax, most taxes in the country, and it's a complete crap hole. Same thing in New York. Same thing in Philly, same thing in Pittsburgh. This is like taxation without representation. This is you bend over and get nothing and like it. Are you done with that? I'm done with that. As we unravel all of the nonsense of the lies that they shared with us over the last, 5 years, we need to crack through some of this nonsense. Rutland, Massachusetts, good luck. Good luck. I'm sure they're going to have a big celebration in Boston. So when we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, new soup or sanctuary for you. Mark Wayne Mullen says something very interesting in advance of the World Cup next. Gavin Newsom also yesterday, Brock sent it to me, and I was like, what? He's like, if any Californian gets any money from the so-called weaponization fund, the $1.776 billion fund that President Trump wants to be able to dole out monetary restitution to people who were victims of Biden's weaponization. Gavin Newsom said, we'll tax 100% of that money that you get. Oh, it's almost like you live in a punitive government. That's what you get when you vote Democrat. That's it. That is the dealio. Rutland, Massachusetts. Nice work. Oh, yes. Got Harry. Harry is talking about John Cornyn's defeat, the worst since what? World War II. Okay, Harry. We did that yesterday or 2 days ago. Let's see what we want to talk about. Tulip blooms. Tulip blooms. You know, it was interesting. Joe and I and the twins went golfing last weekend. And the sun was beautiful and it was nonstop. And I can handle it. I don't normally burn. I got a little red on my shoulders, right? And normally 4 days, 5 days after that, I'll peel. It's been a week and almost 2 weeks. And because I've been using the rainfall, I think it's because I've been using the rainfall from tulip blooms. I think it literally took the dead skin, and that's what it is when you burn. You kill that layer, that outside layer of your dermis or what have you. And you peel. I have not peeled, which is so weird. I always peel. And instead, my skin just feels silky smooth and just like even in texture and look. It's rainfall. Rainfall is tulipblooms.shop/Wendy. It is one of their beautiful face and body lotions. This one is infused with essential oils of rose and geranium. It has a very nice scent, very light, non-greasy. It's just beautiful. It absorbs into your skin lickety split, doesn't leave you feeling thick or greasy or clogged. Sort of like I said it last time, like aloe vera. It's like you're putting in something that's soothing and healing. Tulipblooms.shop/Wendy. I'm telling you, that one in particular, the rainfall with the rose and geranium essential oil, it is beautiful. I think you're really going to like it. And it's perfect for this time of year with all the sun you're going to be getting outside. Just saying, tulipblooms.shop/Wendy.
Did you see a text I sent?
Harry.
No, the one before.
The one before it. Let's see. Yeah, we'll see what happens. So what we're looking at right now, apparently, Fox News is confirming that U.S. and Iranian negotiators have reached a deal to extend the ceasefire by 60 days. President has not signed off on this yet. The deal would reportedly reopen the straits and continue nuclear talks because President Trump is 100%. No uranium, no dust, no nothing. Nothing. You can't have it. Not allowed to have it. No deal. No deal. But the whole 60-day extension of the ceasefire, the left will claim that Trump is being played, right? That all that they know how to do is stonewall and slow walk to run out the clock and then pull one over on you and bomb you or what have you. Well, the president doesn't want to continue dropping missiles and all of that. He will, but he'd much rather have peace. And so the ceasefire, I don't think he's going to poo on the ceasefire. I don't know how many ceasefires you allow. Sorry. Not sure, but okay. We'll see what happens. Getting things moving again in the straight. Obviously, that's the most important part. Hey, thank you. We hit 2.03. We now have 4,700 people watching. It's great to have you. Thank you. Wendy Bell Radio. If you want to get our podcast, download that. And if you will follow us, it's right next to the Rumble button. I really appreciate that. The red button, the Army button, that's our thing. And that costs $5 a month to join, but we do give you 2 months free. And what you get for that is the entire rundown. Every single day, Brock puts this up by usually 7:30ish, and then you have access 4.5 hours before the show to what the show is all about. It's risky.
About 8.
Oh, it's about 4 hours then. It's a risky thing to do because anybody could, any host could just rip off my rundown and make it as their own, but they won't be able to sell it like I can. That's what I'm going to say, at least. Everybody in my neighborhood is doing construction. Is your neighborhood under construction?
No, we can't afford it in my neighborhood.
Oh, for heaven's sakes. Whether it's road construction or what have you.
Well, this is the 5th season in Pennsylvania.
Yes.
Road construction season.
Yes, that's true. Oh my gosh, this hair is really something today, guys. What else is going on in the world? I'm trying to look. I haven't talked much about mom. In America, because I do. I remember going to Walmart and not seeing people who don't look anything like anybody from my community shopping there, loading up their buggies and playing with debit cards that had $10,000 on them. I remember when we didn't have that. I remember when we had schools that weren't overloaded with non-English speaking kids, where we have to bring in English as a second language teachers and what have you. I remember that. I remember when our emergency rooms weren't packed with people, again, who don't belong here, who weren't invited here, who came here on purpose because the Democrats need people to show up to vote for them because their party has left them. And yet what you're going to hear today is that there's a problem in paradise for MAGA. Problems in Camelot. Really? No. I remember all of the good old days. And this is what we're trying to get back to. You guys, when watching what's happening in New Jersey at this ICE facility, where you have Mikey Sherrill, the governor, you got Cory Booker, a senator, got a couple state reps and others out protesting federal agents whose job is to make us safe, keep us safe. Make that make sense to me. Make that make sense to me. Because it doesn't make sense. But I do like Mark Wayne Mullen's idea. He's like, why should border and patrol agents, customs and border patrol agents, come work in sanctuary cities that defy law and order, put our agents in danger? They restrict our ability to deport criminal illegals who we've rightly rounded up off of the street, who, by the way, have killed a hell of a lot of our people. Why would we work to process international travelers flying into these sanctuary city international airports? And he brought up a really good point. He's like, we maybe won't do that. And this is a big threat 2 weeks before the FIFA World Cup. This isn't a Holiday Inn. Mark Wayne Mullen mocks New Jersey protesters and teases about a major airport crackdown. And it's true. Tuesday, we were watching, actually, it was yesterday, we were watching some of the stuff in the cabinet meeting. And it was very interesting to hear this former Senator Mark Wayne Mullen, who's now HHS Secretary, or DHS Secretary, rather, say he's drawing up some plans to block all international flights into certain sanctuary cities by ending the customs screening there, right? We're not going to come and work on your behalf, sanctuary city, and work to process visitors to your city when we can't do our jobs to keep your city safe by rounding up dangerous criminals and deporting them. It's absolute madness. And he said something very interesting. Maybe we'll just stop doing that. Maybe that's going to be the secret sauce. So last night on Fox News, DHS Secretary Mark Wayne Mullen said he's considering pulling these agents out of sanctuary city airports, adding, that we're currently drawing up some plans to do so. And his comments obviously come in response to protests at ICE's Delaney Hall detention facility in Newark, New Jersey. Look, these aren't dudes like the Maryland man who, sounds like a benign character now when you think that he was just, what was he? He's a human trafficker. He's an alleged wife beater. He's an MS-13 gangbanger, right? Sounds perfect. I love that in my neighborhood. We're not talking about that kind of person. We're talking about hardened criminals, mass murderers. We're talking about pedophiles. We're talking about rapists. And even the president had something to say about that. As Mark Wayne Mullins said, why are we working to make these sanctuary cities safer when the sanctuary cities are working to put our agents in danger? Like, one of these things is not like the other. And this is what he said yesterday, because it doesn't make any sense. Listen.
If they're going to not allow us to go out and arrest the worst of the worst, and then when we call for assistance at the facilities, that the street, it belongs to the city. If it belonged to us, we would take care of it, but it belongs to the city, and they're barricading our employees from coming in and out of the facility, then why are we processing international flights into the airport there? And we are currently, which we're not initiating yet, but we're currently drawing up plans to say, listen, in these sanctuary cities where the local radical left Democrats aren't allowing us to do our job and enforce federal laws, then we shouldn't be processing international flights into their cities either, because they don't want us to enforce immigration, but they want us to process immigration at their facilities. Nothing about that makes sense to me.
100%. It sort of reminds me of the neighbor across the street from me who has 2 little children and a husband. They live in a nice house. They tend to their yard very well. And she's got a sign that says, "Protect your neighbors from ICE." And I'm like, I wonder how she would feel if maybe her husband was away on a business trip and she was home with the kids. And it was 3 a.m. when there are no police officers working in the city of Pittsburgh because, much like that town in Massachusetts, oopsies, we don't have enough. I wonder why. What if somebody who's an illegal alien broke into her house, kicked down the door, ran upstairs, raped her, and then murdered her children? Would she worry about protecting her neighbors from ICE? Or would she wish upon a star that 911 would maybe get through to somebody who could help her? It's like this weird disconnect. What dystopian universe are you living in? Where you've got guys with facial tattoos, criminal records longer than my arm, and you're going to go to a nice facility in New Jersey and you're going to protest on those people's behalf. Make that make sense, because Mark Wayne Mullin is saying, why are people being put in the line of fire? Why should we go and do anything to process international travelers when this is the way we're treated? It makes perfect sense. The World Cup, think about it, 2 weeks from today. That's 3 million tickets sold globally for the matches at MetLife Stadium, aka the New York, New Jersey Stadium. Can you imagine if Mark Wayne Mullin yanks the Border Patrol or Homeland Security folks out of customs agents out of New Jersey and New York? Sorry, you guys aren't playing ball with us, so good luck processing all of these foreign visitors. It would create total madness. At yesterday's cabinet meeting, he reported this to the president.
But we have some horrible killers. We have killers. We have guys that have murdered numerous people in there. And these are the people they're trying to protect. There's nobody that runs a facility like we do. Mark Wayne, please.
Yeah, it shows this radical left Democrats' priorities when they decide to go out and protest a detention center where we're housing rapists, child predators, murderers, drug dealers, and they choose Memorial Day of all the time to go protest something that they say that they're that it's because they're on a hunger strike when there was only a handful of individuals that was refusing to eat because they want their ethnic group or their ethnic right food. Well, they can go back to their country and get whatever food they want. The fact is, we're giving them the calories they want. This isn't Holiday Inn. We're giving them sanitation. But for the Democrats and the governor, like Governor Sherrill and Senator Kim and Senator Booker, to go out and do something like this of all the days is very frustrating. And we see Antifa signs are literally out there. The local police literally refusing to respond. They barricade it, not allowing our employees to come in and out. ICE has to go out there, remove the barricade, and then you have one of the senators complain because he got splattered with a pepper ball. I'm sorry, you probably shouldn't have been there.
Probably shouldn't have been there. Why are you there? Because you need the numbers. Because you know at the end of the day, in November and in 2028, you don't have a base of voters who believe in you anymore. They don't want what you're selling. They've not bought your crazy, the brand of crazy that gives us James Tallarico or Graham Plattner. They're not going to go show for you. All you have left is illegal aliens that you've got to get to vote. Think about this. Pulling CBP out of sanctuary airports would have such an enormous chain reaction impact. International travelers would no longer be able to fly into airports like LAX, JFK, San Francisco, Chicago, Newark, Seattle, Denver, and Philly, as there would be no customs agents to process them. Additionally, Mark Wayne Mullen points out the Democrats have refused to fund CBP. So why are we working for these cities that work against us and work to hurt or kill us? Stephen Miller reminds us who protesters in New Jersey are protesting for. And the short answer here is really the scum of the earth.
Riots at the ICE facilities. And by the way, the rioters who obstruct federal law enforcement are being arrested, and they're being charged with felony criminal conduct, and they will do hard time in jail. But what you see, Sean, are Democrats rioting to defend pedophiles, rapists, murderers, and the scum of the earth that ICE is removing from our streets, instead of supporting the heroes of ICE and Border Patrol that President Trump has dispatched to make America safer than ever before.
Make that make sense, because you can't. None of it makes sense because it's nonsensical. It's idiotic. It's moronic. It's below your education level. It's below. It's the same idea of Donald Trump being accused of what? Raping E. Jean Carroll. It's the same lunacy of Joe Biden being seasoned and acute and with it and fantastic. It's the same thing as all of it. His debate performance, that was because he was on cold medicine, you know? And by the way, does anybody else wonder what happened to Joe Biden's dire prostate cancer diagnosis? Because you know they do that. They'll drop some horrible diagnosis for the factor of, oh, well, we'll go soft on him. He's sick. I mean, he's old. And if he has metastatic prostate cancer like Scott Adams had, well, you know what? Scott Adams is dead. Joe Biden's not. Either he's got the huge luck of the draw, or everything they tell you is garbage. And the people that Mikey Sherrill, governor of New Jersey, and Cory Booker are going out to protest in favor of, they're like the guy in Oklahoma, the illegal immigrant charged with killing 4 people ages 18 to 20 after allegedly driving drunk the wrong way on a highway before striking their vehicle, and all 4 burned alive in that car. 2 men and 2 women, the ages of my sons. Can you imagine being one of those families that gets that knock on the door and then realizing that your governor is going to protest in favor of their murderer? Make that make sense. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, it doesn't make sense. Apparently, John Thune is waving the white flag of surrender. How do you know? One very important thing he did yesterday. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. I'm almost done with this. I never finish my water.
No, you don't. We've heard every gulp.
That's so mean. That's not very nice. All right, let's talk about Blood Flow 7. Bloodflow7.com/Wendy. It's, you know, if you're not even remotely interested, if I'm blowing sunshine up your skirt about how well this makes me feel, about how much better I do physical exercise, about how I don't go home. And I used to be able to sit down on my bed when I was still writing for Newsmax and doing my Newsmax show. Brock knows Mondays and Tuesdays were totally busy for me because my script had to be in by a certain time. It was very stressful, blah, blah, blah. And oftentimes I would come home from the show, run up to my room to get away from the noise of the family and hunker down and start writing. And I would go like this. I'd be like, just one second. I'm just gonna close my eyes for 1 second. And then I'd be like, and wake up. I have not felt fatigue like that in months. And I can only tell you, look, I haven't changed how I eat. I drink a couple different things, but it's Blood Flow 7. It's this. And it's totally cheap. It's like 80 cents a day to take 2 capsules. And I take it first thing in the morning. So when I work out at 6, it's already pulsing through my body. And I'll tell you the effects after the day. You go full steam all day. You're like the Energizer Bunny. And it's wild. And you really notice it the older you are. I'm going to tell you that. And then when it's time for you to go to bed, you go brush your teeth, wash your face, put on your jams, get into bed. And it's like, and you're out. It's like the best sleep you will have. It's a great side effect. You sleep like a boulder. Bloodflow7.com. It's nitric oxide. That's the secret sauce. Bloodflow7.com/Wendy. Just going to tell you. That's what it is. Love it, love it, love it. Won't go a day without it. Ooh. You know what? And if I get my kids taking stuff, you know I really care about it. And that's Bloodflow7.com. We haven't seen a lot of Stephen Miller. I wonder what he's been up to.
Being a national treasure.
He is a national.
That's probably a job in itself.
Being a national treasure?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you.
I know it is.
It's funny. My neighbor across the street has all this scaffolding up around her house. And it can only mean one thing. She's getting a new roof. And I wanted to be like, did you call 1-800-NEW-ROOF? And she'd probably be like, no, what? And she's lovely. And I'm going to watch. I want to see how people in the neighborhood do it. There are a couple like kind of fly-by-night outfits that are making the rounds in the neighborhood who do the cold call, knock on your door, fly a drone over your house and say, we found some spaces that look like we could do your roof for $1 million. You're like, yes, let's go. IrelandContracting.com. One of the benefits of being in southwestern Pennsylvania is that's their service area. 1-800-NEW-ROOF, IrelandContracting.com. They tell you what it's going to cost. That is the cost. They tell you what they're going to do. They do the job. They pick it up. They take care of your house as though it's your own. And that's the story. That's their magic. And thank God, because 1-800-NEW-ROOF, IrelandContracting.com. Windows, by the way. Whole house new windows. Don't go to one of those window companies. Call Ireland if you live in southwestern PA. Read between the lines. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. Looky here. And so lickety split too. John Thune waving the white flag of surrender. The do-nothing Senate Majority Leader is now getting behind Ken Paxton. And I'm pretty sure it's for his own political survival. Sorry, John. Might be too late for you, bro, because we've been waiting for you to do one of something. Washington Examiner headline, Thune backs Ken Paxton after divisive Texas primary. I mean, he doesn't really have a choice. He's got to kind of grovel. He's got to go kiss the ring of Donald Trump in many ways, because this president's track record, it's so interesting when you look at what Democrats offer, and then you look at the coalescing behind this whole idea of making America great again. right? The Democrats want to bring in all these invaders from foreign countries, third world people who sponge off of us, who rob us blind, who grift and steal all of the welfare stuff. And then you have President Trump, who's got a 100% success rate with his endorsement record right now. Democrats put all their eggs in the migrants basket and the dangerous criminals. They go protest for all the wrong things, right? And yet they want you to believe it's going to be a real decision day kind of thing. I don't think so. Senate Majority Leader John Thune has thrown his support behind Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, bringing Senate leadership one step closer to coalescing around a Republican they spent months trying to defeat. Now, is the writing on the wall for them, or are they just trying to save face? I don't know. Probably a little bit of both. Thune endorsed Paxton on the heels of his victory against Senator John Cornyn, telling conservative radio host Hugh Hewitt that Cornyn had been a, quote, great partner in the Senate, but that Republicans need to pivot if they hope to win Texas in November. Now, that's interesting because President Trump was telling you to pivot, John. The American people, MAGA, that made Donald Trump, that won that last election. We told you what we wanted. And you spent $100 million of National Republican Senatorial Committee money, not on the guy we wanted. You blew through a wad of cash like Kamala Harris did during the general election in 2024. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? It's because you're so out of touch. You don't listen. You don't care. You don't hear what we say to you. So this endorsement, I'm sure, doesn't thrill Ken Paxton. I'm not so sure he needs your support, John Thune, at all. As an incumbent, Cornyn had Thune's backing and advanced to Tuesday's runoff with the help of tens of millions spent by allied groups. That support was not enough to keep Cornyn in office, however, and Paxton, aided by a late endorsement from the president, ran away with the primary vote election night. You know that, defeating Cornyn by 28 points. So this is what Thune said. Ken Paxton is our nominee heading into November. And we've got to pivot and go all in to make sure that we keep Texas red, that he wins, and that we keep a far left liberal out of the United States Senate. Right? Thune said, disclosing that he called Paxton on Wednesday. He's all in. He's ready to go for the fall election and not taking any time off. Already on the phone, raising money and all the things you're going to have to do to be successful. Well, you know, it's so intriguing because before the runoff, Ken Paxton said to you, John Thune, and to John Cornyn, pass the Save America Act. That's it. Just pass the Save America Act. Everybody wants it. I'll get out of the way. I will forego my political ambition, whether it's just because I want to keep climbing the ladder or I believe I have a role to play in the history books of America. I will step out of the way. You do that, you save yourself $100 million. And they didn't. John Thune, it's a little too late, my man. Just going to say, some Republicans got an early jump on endorsing Paxton, including John Barrasso from Wyoming, who I also don't trust, the number 2 Senate Republican. Bernie Moreno, who I do trust, a frontrunner to lead the National Republican Senatorial Committee next cycle, which was the group that gave $100 million in the effort for John Cornyn to win. You know, I have serious questions about how these people make money decisions. How do you do that? Because you're making bad decisions. If you had listened, not just even to the president, but to the people, John Thune, you would have heard loud and clear. It was telegraphed to you from all across the fruited plain, and you chose to not pay attention to us because John Cornyn's such an avid fundraiser. And you know, he helped Lisa Murkowski stay in office. Wow. Thanks. Super happy about that. That's the story, ladies and gentlemen. Little too late. Little too late. Senator Tim Scott, the chairman of the Senatorial Committee, followed suit after Thune did, releasing a statement saying he had praise for John Cornyn. Tell me you're not a rhino when you do that. When we come back, hour number 3 of the Wendy Bell radio program, what the heck is going on at the CIA? 303 gold bars in one dude's house. What? Next. Tim Scott. Come on, dude. I'm going to go get more to drink. I sucked that down. That was really quite delicious. Oh, I lost my shoe. I'll be right back, guys.
You gotta love how John Thune says we have to pivot. No, John, 60-some% of Texans don't have to pivot. They know exactly who they're voting for. You dirtbag. Yeah, I'm curious who signed off on the close to $100 million for Cornyn. Katie Britt's on that committee. I don't know. I don't trust her. I don't know. You guys might like her, but there's something about anyone who thinks it's okay to spend on John Cornyn when it just tells you they're not paying attention.
That's what I'm saying.
And Katie Britt's had some stuff come out about her
and her
insider
finances.
trading, yeah.
And then well, my husband takes care of that. That's not an excuse.
Yeah, I mean, who knows what your pillow talk is?
Pillow talk. That's like one of those like footsie. I hate that. It's so gross.
What, footsies?
Yes, it's so gross.
Is that like moist?
Yes, it is. You devil. You devilish man. You devilish man.
You're hurtful today.
I am hurtful. The healthy fat. Where'd he go? See, do you think it would be bad if I had another scoop?
No.
Right?
I think you should try the liver stuff by itself.
Okay.
What's that, LTV?
Yeah. I'm going in.
I think it's not overpowering.
Ooh, I like that you don't have to use the scissors to get it going. Or maybe you do. All right, The Healthy Fat by Dr. Gundry. So this liver hydration thing is not about weight loss. It's about health, hydration, and hydrating your down to the cellular level with your liver, which is important. And I never even thought about that until I started doing some of the research that Dr. Josh had sent me. But The Healthy Fat, Dr. Gundry's drink, I think the thing that's super interesting about Dr. Gundry's offering this MCT Wellness is that you're talking about a highly regarded cardiothoracic pediatric heart transplant surgeon. Like, I don't know a lot of surgeons that are dabbling in the world of research and weight loss, and they figure out there are things that our bodies need that literally flip a switch inside of you that allow your body, which naturally, I guess, hangs on to some calories just in case, kind of like a starvation mode, like just in case. This flips that switch so that your body loses those calories. And that's where you get off of that plateau where you're losing weight, you're doing it the right way, trying, and then you hit this plateau and you're like, dang it, there's no reason for me not to keep losing weight, but I'm not. This, Dr. Gundry says, is a very powerful, super safe and effective, significant weight loss tool. Dietary supplement that kills your appetite for about 4 to 5 hours, which is just what you need. That's that like special spot there where that's just what you want to skip a meal. I don't eat 3 meals a day. I usually eat 1 meal a day. And I'll snack a couple things. I'll have nuts and whatnot, or Pringles, or
dots,
goldfish. God,
I can't
stop
eating dots.
Carb freak. And then if you put a bowl of pistachios in front of me, it's like.
The problem is, if you put a beer in front of me, I have to have my dots.
Yeah, this is delicious.
Isn't it? It's not overpowering, but
No.
it tastes like one of those freeze pops.
Mhm. Yeah, I don't normally drink this much water even. And I'm like, I want more of it. Okay, anyway, Thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. Dr. Gundry lost 70 pounds. Okay, I'm just going to tell you. And we've had multiple people who've chronicled their weight loss, and they're like, yeah, I've lost 60 pounds. I've lost 55 pounds. I'm like, what? So you use that in conjunction with obviously getting more steps in, right? What do we want to get? Like 10,000 steps in a day? It's hard, but you can do it. And then obviously eating right. So if you do those things and you drink MCT Wellness, which is thehealthyfat.com/Wendy, I think you're setting yourself up for a fantastic weight loss journey this summer. You could easily lose 10 pounds before you even squeeze into your bathing suit. I hate bathing suit season, don't you? Joe bought me one that has a skirt.
Oh, no, that's worse than a wide load one.
No, it's cute.
Right.
No, it's
skirt.
cute. No, it's cute. It's yeah, it's a skirt.
Grandmas have the skirts.
Well, it's more of like a
Grandmas.
No, because
is it like the tie on one side where it goes angled?
No. So I think it's got kind of like a bikini top, but the bottom, it's more athletic looking than anything. And it's not like, it just barely covers my rump. Barely. It's more or less just not walking around showing your butt to everybody. That's all it is.
Wide seat.
And I know it pained him to buy it too. He's like, I know you don't want to wear bikinis anymore. I'm like, 56 doesn't wear a bikini anymore. Right? I mean, like, come on, can we just be honest about that? We'll just say honest about that.
Well, in fairness, as a man, you also don't buy something that says wide seat. I mean, like, if you ever want to see said wide seat again, you don't buy something that says wide seat.
Well, yeah.
Just saying.
But if he doesn't, they go and they climb up my yes. You don't want them going up your crack, right? Digging it out all the time. It's just not a good look.
Digging it out.
Well, it's uncomfortable. So I like this because you could walk on the beach or whatnot and have it not go constantly rooting around at it. Too much information Thursday. Thank you for being here. Wide seat. Hey. 5, 4,
3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell. Inspiring solutions to save America, one show at a time. Are you ready to get on board?
They believe that they can destroy this bond that exists between you and Trump if they somehow make Trump look bad, make Trump look like a reprobate, embarrass you about Trump. They can't do it because you came before Trump. Desperately want Trump gone, and I know that they desperately want it codified, that Trump cannot run again, because make no mistake, they remain scared to death of you, and they remain scared to death of Trump. Trump 75 million, 80 million votes. And I'm going to tell you, you're not going anywhere. Even if Trump does, you're not. Which I think remains one of our big campaign strengths going forward. They can't separate you from Trump. More importantly, they can't separate you from the ideas. They can't separate you from MAGA. They can't separate you from Make America Great Again.
From sea to shining sea, 3 hours of bold truth and excellence. The Wendy Bell Radio Program.
This is one of those headlines that you're just like, wait, what? What are you talking about? What is going on at the CIA? Welcome back to the Wendy Bell Radio Program, hour number 3. And if you're just joining us, might I please express my gratitude for the 8 million podcast downloads we hit yesterday. Without you, this doesn't work. And I'm so grateful to you. And I hope you know that every single day. Really, really, thank you. I want to know, what does the CIA even do? What's the job over at the CIA? It's like one of the most covert, sketch, dark shadow, you don't need to know that kind of things. And I think a lot of people have completely run amok of the agency. And I think it's probably been for what? 80 years? I don't know, maybe ever since they started covering up the UFOs and the aliens and all this stuff that clearly crashed on Earth and they've been doing experiments with, and they don't want you to know about it. Why don't they want you to know about it? Because they're criminals. There's some criminals out there doing criminal things, believe they can get away with it. The idea that you could have this guise of democracy and say to the people of this great country, everybody go out and vote. You choose who the president is. You choose the leader of this country. But in all reality, there's an underbelly. There's a blob. There's a bureaucratic, unelected, nameless, faceless entity of people who are doing some pretty dark and dirty things. And somehow they have limitless resources. And I want to know how. I want to know why. Listening to Dr. Stephen Greer talking about the UFO files, this guy ditched his job as an ER physician and became a prominent UFO researcher and documentary filmmaker, et cetera, et cetera. And I heard a clip of his where he's like, look, this isn't just about the secrets. This is about people doing criminal things and doing it without the president or this administration's knowledge. It's almost like regardless of who you and I elect, there is this puppeteer and this, I don't know, stage performance, and they do everything that we don't know about. And even the president doesn't know about it, which is why all of these UFO people have been coming out saying that I don't even know if the president knows what to ask or who to ask it of. That just seems so wrong on every level. And it all kind of goes back to the CIA to me. Right? The CIA overthrew governments dating back to the 1940s. Right? Is it possible? Do you guys believe this is possible? That there are machinations and manners in which compensation is doled out to nefarious causes or to secret operations that don't involve physical money, traceable physical money, that various other things, other commodities are leveraged and lobbied and sent out as payment from the CIA to get dirty crap accomplished. I do. And this headline kind of proves it, I think. FBI, this is New York Times, FBI arrests CIA official with $40 million in gold bars in his home. Like, I want to get on the phone to John Ratcliffe, who I believe is an upstanding, honorable patriot. I do. I could be completely wrong. But from what I've watched of this man as a congressman and now as the head of the CIA, he was also the director of national intelligence, et cetera, he strikes me as a straight shooter. I don't think John Ratcliffe has a clue in the world what is going on at the CIA. The same way I don't think Kash Patel has an inkling of really how dark and dirty a bunch of stuff is going on at the FBI. It's been going on for years. The same way I don't believe President Trump knows all of the details of whatever this blob is that is really running so much of the underbelly darkness in this country. What is it about a CIA guy has $40 million in gold bars in his house? How do you have that? Where does that come from? How does one accumulate that? Well, let's listen to this, okay? A senior CIA official was arrested last week after investigators found hundreds of gold bars worth over $40 million stashed in his Virginia residence, a small fortune that he apparently brought home from work, according to court papers. You know, what do I bring home from work? Every now and again, I ask Joe to steal like a ream of printer paper so I don't have to go get it. That's what I get. I get him to take printer paper for the office. I'm not bringing home gold bars. How does this work? The official, David Rush, is being held in jail while he waits detention hearing in the coming days on charges of stealing public money by filing fraudulent timesheets. Say what? The charging documents filed in Alexandria, Virginia, still leave a lot of unanswered questions about his recent conduct. You think? And we thought Gold Bar Bob Menendez was a dirtbag. He's in prison, right? What's this guy doing? So David Rush, the only charge lodged against Mr. Rush, according to the New York Times, is that he inflated his academic credentials and obtained military leave pay worth tens of thousands of dollars. The authorities say he falsely claimed to be a member of the Navy Reserve when he was discharged. That doesn't give us any reason why he has 303 gold bars, $2 million of cash, and something like 35 Rolex watches. What's he doing for the CIA? So the court papers described this dude as a former senior executive, service-level employee at a United States government agency. People familiar with the investigation say he, until very recently, held a senior top-secret position at the CIA. In a joint statement, the CIA and the FBI said the arrest occurred on May 19th after the agency alerted the Bureau. After the CIA internal investigation identified potential violations of the law, CIA Director John Ratcliffe referred the information to the FBI for a law enforcement investigation. A lawyer for Rush declined to comment. A woman answered the phone at his house, hung up on the reporter. Well, from last November to March, court papers say Mr. Rush asked for and received a significant quantity of foreign currency and tens of millions of dollars in gold bars for work-related expenses. Say what? When the CIA conducted a review of where the gold and the currency were stashed, the agency was, quote, unable to locate the gold bars or significant amounts of the foreign currency until they went to his house and found approximately 303 gold bars, each which weighed approximately 1 kilogram. Based on the price of gold, the value exceeded $40 million. That's it. That's what the New York Times tells us. That's it. Okay, next story. Does that solve your curiosity problems here? Let's listen to how MS Now covered the story because it's just as baffling.
A former CIA senior officer is accused of secretly stashing 300 gold bars in his house that he brushed off as work-related expenses, according to court documents, and two people familiar with his employment history. Julia Ainsley is joining us now with this exclusive reporting. Sorry, Julia. What?
I know. Hallie, when I first heard this tip, I didn't think it was real. And then the court documents spelled out that there was a man who was an employee of a government agency that was found with $40 million worth of gold bars in his home. If you're wondering how many gold bars that is, the court document says it's about 308. What my team here at NBC News, Dan DeLuce and Gary Grumbach and I found is that that man was not just an employee of any agency. He was a high-level official with top secret clearance in the CIA, and that he not only lied about what he was doing with this money, but that allegedly he also lied about his background, said that he graduated from a college he did not attend, that he went to a graduate school he did not attend, and that he had a pilot's license that the FAA said he did not have. So he was arrested last week, and he is now in detention facing these charges of lying about his background and perhaps unknowingly embezzling American taxpayers' money. I want to read you a statement we just got in from the CIA saying that after a CIA internal investigation identified potential violations of the law, CIA Director John Ratcliffe referred the information to the FBI for a law enforcement investigation. The FBI is working closely with our partners at the CIA and the Department of Justice as we continue to investigate this matter fully. So, Hallie, we will be staying on this, but what this looks like is that this was someone who was given currency. He was even paid in cash and watches that he said needed to be used in order to pay for operations that he was in charge of. But rather than keeping it in his office, they found $40 million worth of this gold, as well as $2 million in cash and 35 luxury watches in his home. So we'll bring you more as we learn it.
You're not going to learn anymore. This guy is Jason Bourne. He's going to be one of these deep, dark, secret operatives who does these things off the books that nobody knows about, not even the director of the CIA. What was he doing? And for whom? But Donald Trump is our problem. Got it. What the hell is happening out there, ladies and gentlemen? The wheels are coming off. When we go back on the Wendy Bell radio program, like, holy moly. Let's talk about a little bit more about this story. What do you guys think? What do you think next? What do you think? I'm starting to think like every spy movie, every Mission Impossible. Did you guys see the guy who showed up on Fox News and he looked like he had a mask on?
Yeah.
So you could see like there was that ripple in his neck right here, like why he would wear that outfit or what have you if he's wearing a mask. I'm beginning to believe every movie that we've ever seen, right? Everything from E.T., like Raiders of the Lost Ark,
Elf.
Star Wars, Elf, Jason Bourne, all of these things. Like, what is it? I didn't put in a bottom here, Brock. So that's why I just stalled. That's a bummer. I have to figure that out real quick, huh? I don't know what's going on with that. I have no idea. More Gains Fitness, you guys. I do know what Kelly does, and it's very basic. If you eat less and you get your heart rate pumping and you exercise, it's amazing. You lose weight. And when you exercise with somebody who's helping you by showing you on video what your body is supposed to be doing, it's extraordinarily helpful, especially if you're not one who's ever gone to a gym before. That is the secret specialness of the 90 Ignite program. Kelly's keenly aware of the fact that starving yourself for 72 hours might cleanse you of a pound or two, but that's not a sustainable program. She said it's going to take you 90 days. Give her 3 months. And you stick to the program, and then you're going to measure yourself, and you're going to measure your hips and your waist and your chest, all of this. You're going to lose weight. You're going to lose inches. You're going to lose fat. You're going to gain confidence. You're going to gain a better looking figure, and you're going to gain joy. That's the story. More Gains Fitness, MORGAINZ, moregainsfitness.com. We have a really great soundbite coming up with Will Kane, who I think is all that. I think he's fantastic. Which is great. He's pushing back on a Michigan Senate candidate, that El Sayed guy who is just toxic. He stands for everything somebody from a third world country would stand for, and not what an American stands for. Right? One of those guys who is all about, illegal aliens getting rights and you and me paying for it. So, ooh. This is a big deal. Huh. So you sent me something about Gavin Newsom trying to put the squeeze on any kind of federal intervention with the elections. Yes. So let me see. Gavin Newsom just signed a law ensuring his rigged elections won't be audited or protecting illegals going to polling stations to vote. Whoa. And now Karen Bass.
Oh.
Huh?
Look what I just sent you.
That's interesting. June 12th is the day that Trump is going to drop the next tranche. I've never used that word before, but now all of a sudden I'm saying tranche because that's what they say. So I don't know.
Well, they say it.
Right. Of alien stuff. Honestly, of all things to believe, we didn't believe all this other stuff for the last 5 years. And now we're going to be like, no, that's out of control. Aliens? No way. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. So Gavin Newsom is sphinctered up. He's trying to prevent any kind of federal oversight of California's midterms, of the primary coming up on Tuesday. And from what did you just send me? Is Spencer Pratt neck and neck with Karen Bass? Is that what that says? Or
Yeah,
is he?
that she only has like 26%. And if he can keep her under 50%, it'll be a 1 versus 1 runoff.
Uh-huh. And now all of these people are coming out of the woodwork. I just saw Dennis Quaid coming out. Anybody with half of a brain knows that a guy who's not running on politics, but is running because the politicians burned his house down. That is a formidable opponent in a city that has been basically destroyed by lackey Democrats who do nothing but check boxes. Oh, you're black and you're a woman. Okay, what else? Well, I don't know. I mean, like, I'm a communist. I love Cuba. Other than that, I don't have anything. She sounds perfect. Let's have her run. So now Gavin Newsom wants to make sure that there can be no audit of the elections coming up, specifically the midterms. Now, why would you do that? Because you're going to cheat. They think we're stupid. He's like, we got to protect it. Donald Trump is going to come in here. He's going to try to steal our election. That's not what he's doing. But this is going to really piss Gavin off, which I love. Headline from the Liberty Daily right now, just in. Judge declines to block Trump's order on mail-in voting. What? A federal judge today has allowed President Donald Trump's administration to implement an executive order imposing restrictions on mail-in voting. Huh. You mean we're going to try to peel back and unwind the suck of rampant, indiscriminate, and fraudulent mail-in voting, where people like Pennsylvania, which in 2020 sent out 1.8 million mail-in ballots, but received 2.5 million. And it's like, I don't know. I'm no math major, but 800,000 is kind of a big deal. That's not a coding error or a rounding error or some kind of a glitch. That's called you done stole the election. And everybody knows it. U.S. District Judge Carl Nichols, based in Washington, rejected a request from Democrats, including Chuck Schumer, for an injunction against the order. Why should you care, Chuck? If you guys aren't nefarious, if you're not trying to cheat, then you should want things to be the way they were. There is no virus. There's no fright. Nobody's worried. We've already played that game. We know how it ends. We got Joe Biden out of it. And Jill, I mean, she was just so surprised by that debate performance. Absent an injunction, the federal government would compile lists of U.S. citizens and would coerce states into only allowing people on the lists to register to vote and to vote in elections, even though the sources for the list are known to be deficient, plaintiffs argued in court filings. The situation may change if the U.S. Postal Service issues a final rule. But look, the whole story is there are a handful of reasons why you should be able to vote by mail. You're a student and you're out of state. You're somewhere else. You're like my sons. They live in Tennessee. They have to vote in Pennsylvania. They'll vote by mail. If you're in the military, right? Well, you're serving somewhere overseas. You're not at your home state. You can vote by mail. If you're infirm, right? And how many of these various loopholes have the Democrats tried to exploit? In fact, isn't the nursing home one of the biggest mills for fraudulent voter registrations and voting like ever? Of course it is. President Trump is saying, look, we got to get back to this whole thing. People have to have faith in the elections. We have to trust that the people that we want to elect are being elected. And in order to do that, we're going to make serious restrictions on mail-in voting. And besides that, the one thing that needs to be accomplished, which I think will have a chilling effect on illegals being compensated with gold bars, Rolexes, or otherwise from getting in line and trying to vote. You put ICE agents in sanctuary cities like Atlanta and Pittsburgh and Philly and New York and all these others, Denver, Seattle, Portland, and you just choose various areas where things went super shady in 2020, and you just have them armed agents ready to go, just standing there, making sure everything moves smoothly. They're not inside, but they are outside. Guess who doesn't show up? Oh, that's right. Illegals who don't look like us, who are ready to break the law. They don't want to get bounced, right? It's not complicated. When we come back, you've got to hear Will Cain absolutely dismantle a Michigan Senate candidate. You're going to love this. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. Had a small aneurysm there.
If we could just get rid of illegals and dead people voting, Democrats would never win again.
100%. And it's so when the Department of Agriculture, which manages the SNAP benefits and the welfare, whatnot, when Brooke Rollins, as Secretary of Agriculture, sends out lists to all of the the 50 states, secretaries of state. They're like, hey, we need your voter lists. We need your welfare rolls. We need to double check these things. And all of the Democrat states refuse. And they refuse because they say, this is weaponization. Anybody who doesn't know what's going on probably should be one of the first to be shot up to that moon base. You could be the first residents on the moon base. Do you believe we're going to live on the moon, Brock?
I'm not going to.
I hear the atmosphere isn't that great.
Wow. It's not even Bad Joke
It
Friday.
is. That's terrible. I know. And I ripped it off.
But tomorrow is. So get your jokes in. WBRBrock@gmail.com. Good news. WBRBrock@gmail.com. If you want it read. WendyBellRadio@gmail.com. If you want a chance of having it read. I'm ready for the next drop.
Are you? What do you think it's going to be?
It's going to have to be pretty big because now it's just out there all the time. So it's got to be pretty big. We're enough of the just seeing these images that you're guessing that you're trying to
show me an alien.
Yeah.
Show me the money. Well, you're going to save it because this is not an expensive product. Collagen peptides from Get Native Path. GetNativePath.com/Wendy. GetNativePath.com/Wendy. You know what we should be doing? We should be talking to our sons and daughters about these things when they get into their late 20s and early 30s. That's when, really in your 30s, and I can speak as a woman, that's when things start to go a little haywire. Your estrogen, your collagen, things all sort of start to get fuzzy and not as strong as they once were. If you could supplement your collagen and just be there to fight the loss of it, which happens over time, I think we'd all be much better off. I wonder how many fewer knee injuries we would have. This is great for cartilage. I have crepitus in my knee, so when you walk up the steps or when I do like the leg extension at the gym, you can hear it go, or the leg press, and it doesn't hurt, but it sounds gross and I can't stand it. This is a really great thing to take for cartilage, for bones, for ligaments, things that we take for granted until all of a sudden you wake up one day and you're like, dang it, I can't move like I used to. Collagen peptides for my friends at Native Path. GetNativePath.com/Wendy. Dissolves instantly in any liquid. We put it in our drinks every day. You know this. And I'm powering through it. Like this is our second bag of it now. And dump
You're
the bag
going to
in
bring
here.
some in tomorrow.
What? This? For you, why?
Yes.
Okay. Collagen peptides. GetNativePath.com/Wendy. I really like this company. They've been nothing but straight up with me. And they offer phenomenal discounts because their number one objective is to make their products affordable so that you're inclined to try them. And so they give you wonderful discounts, right? And it's up to 45% off. So you're talking about pennies a scoop, putting this in your drinks every single day. Takes nothing, and I think it is extraordinarily beneficial. So if you'd like to join me on my collagen kick, GetNativePath.com. This is the brand that I trust. GetNativePath.com/Wendy. Up to 45% off. Love them.
I credit that stuff with being able to play baseball, catching. I didn't hurt the next day. Usually my knees hurt.
I'm just going to say, And we have to be, I think one thing I've learned about supplementation is that you have to be consistent with it, and you have to give it a little bit of time. You have to be a little bit patient. You got to give things a month or two, and be diligent about it, and monitor your body, because it tells you everything. I love them. They have a 365-day money-back guarantee. GetNativePath.com/Wendy. So literally, you could get down to the very bottom of this after 2 months and be like, I really didn't like it. And they'll give you your money back. That's a pretty good deal. Pretty sneaky, sis.
170. Let's go.
All right. We're getting there slowly. I am going to say it quickly. Did I already talk about Health Revolution? I think I did.
If you did, I was in the
Health Revolution. Info.healthrevolution.net. Things are changing in health insurance. The Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, the marketplace is about to go down in flames. Be prepared. 800-868-6187. Info.healthrevolution.net. Save 30 to 60%. Choose your own doctor. No co-pays. Very small deductibles. If you're on COBRA, self-employed. If you're a gig worker. If you're under the age of 65. Info.healthrevolution.net. It's the real deal. I was a really bad liar. I lied about everything. Lie. My parents didn't trust me for years. And it was deeply hurtful because it was self-inflicted. I don't know why I felt like I had to lie about stuff. But I think as I got older, I became very honest. Because I got to experience losing the confidence of my parents. They second-guessed me. They checked up on me. They followed things to make sure I wasn't lying. And I deserved it. I had it coming to me. But I think it was that experience, again, that I caused that morphed me into the woman I am today, where I find it very offensive to be lied to. And that's why the main focus of this program is, yes, my bias, because I am extraordinarily biased. I love America and I'm conservative, but I don't lie to you. And I'm tired of being lied to. It takes a long time to get somebody's trust back after you've lost it. What do they say? It's like one of the hardest things to earn and the fastest things to lose is trust. And so I have raised my boys with that idea. Just tell the truth. Even when you've made a mistake, just come clean to me. Because making up some lie and then the snowballing of ancillary lies that have to cover up the gaps of the original lie, it becomes exhausting. And just come clean. What's going to happen to you? You're going to have disappointed me. You're going to get in trouble. But then you move on. Liars, You know, the media lied to us and have for God knows how long. And I'm embarrassed to admit I don't know how long because I was in the field for 20 odd years and I did not lie to people. But I look back now on some of the things that we did as a TV station or what have you, and they were disingenuous. Some of the things disingenuous. It's just all now sheer propaganda. And I know you know that. You can see through it. But sometimes there's that one audio soundbite that smacks you in the face, like the frying pan, like boing. And this is one of those. This is MSNBC, MS Now. This is Nicole Wallace. This is a couple weeks ago. And she said something that was just so absolutely preposterous that I asked Brock if he would snag it. And she was so desperate to try to tell the people, the few people who pay attention to her, that MAGA is on the way out. It was a fleeting thing, but it's not surviving. This president, nobody trusts him. His approval numbers, this is right after Harry Enton had come out and been like, I can't believe it. Donald Trump's in the toilet. And then, of course, the MAGA support's like 99%. But everybody else hates him. So Nicole Wallace gloms onto that. And she runs with it. It's a small clip, but I want to play this to you because this is such the deceit, the purposeful manipulation of facts in order to convince you of a certain thing. Listen.
Hi there, everyone. It's Laura Clark in New York. At this very moment, Donald Trump's political career is spoiling faster than a box of Trump steaks left out in the sun. A brand new poll shows record levels of disapproval for the job that Donald Trump is doing as president, with key parts of his political coalition now completely turning on him.
Really? The key parts of his coalition are turning on him. Of course, he's probably talking about Megyn Kelly, Tucker Carlson, Alex Jones, and whomever the fourth person was who started defecting from the whole MAGA idea to squawk about this and that. Look, everybody's allowed to have their own opinions, whatever. But I thought that was an interesting soundbite because I'd like to remind Nicole Wallace now, and this is a fantastic article from the Post Millennial, lest you believe any of the lies that you are forced fed every night should you happen to flip through their channels. 118 Trump-backed candidates undefeated in 2026 primaries so far. Of the 118 candidates so far across governor, U.S. House, and U.S. Senate races Trump has endorsed, all of them have won their primaries. It's like the most ridiculous dichotomy, right? Joe Biden's fabulous. He's great. We love him. He's so smart. He's sharp as a tack. Oh my gosh, what a leader. I love that man of mine. There's that as he's like, what? Drooling. Walks into the bushes, needs the Easter bunny and all of the cheat sheets. And then there's Donald Trump who bats 1,000. You've got two totally different worlds, and they're so opposite that there's no way that you could spell a different story. Come on. Anybody with half of a brain could see what's going on. Amid the 2026 election season, Trump has had a perfect record in regard to candidates he has endorsed winning their primary elections. I don't have to go through them all to you. On the flip side of that, who did the Democrats give to you and try to present to you as the new Democrat base? They produce for you people like this wacko that Will Cain from Fox just absolutely eviscerated. He deserves an Emmy Award for letting Michigan Senate candidate Abdul El Sayed literally hang himself with Bubba Wallace's noose. It's a long clip, but I want you to hear this. Will Cain refuses. This is journalism. He refuses to allow Michigan Democrat Senate candidate Abdul El Sayed to take control of this interview or to dodge Cain's question about El Sayed's proposal to abolish ICE. You want to abolish ICE. This is what we're doing. Masterclass, Emmy Award winning, worthy. Listen.
We start with your very own words, that you would like to abolish ICE. Now, what I would like to ask you is, ICE is simply the enforcement mechanism for democratically elected laws of the people. Now, for a party who has talked about the threat to democracy, is it your position that you do not want to see the will of the people, the democratically elected laws, enforced?
First of all, Will, you and I both know that immigration law is not criminal law. Immigration law is civil law. It's like getting a parking ticket. So the idea that we should have a paramilitary force that is weaponized on our streets to enforce civil law seems to me to be a bit over the top, particularly considering the fact that the current president is weaponizing ICE against the idea of the rule of law itself. The idea that they should just be governed simply by Stephen Miller and Donald Trump without any enforcement around basic warrant law or the Constitution itself, that to me is frustrating. Now, I want to pivot just quickly because I do want to ask you, do you pump your own gas?
Well, before we start talking about whether or not I pump my own gas, we're going to have to follow up with your answer.
It's important.
I appreciate
$185 billion.
I appreciate the interest in having a conversation, Mr. Syed. But what I would suggest is I'm conducting this interview, and I want to ask you about your positions. My interest today is you are running for Senate. No, excuse me. You are running for Senate in the state of Michigan. What I am curious about, as you conduct a tour targeted at counties that voted for both Joe Biden and President Donald Trump, is exactly how extreme or moderate your positions might be. I'm not running for elected office, so my position on current gas prices is of immaterial to the audience. Your positions as seeking elected office are what's important. And what I would like to figure out is whether or not you believe in the rule of law. It's simply not true that immigration enforcement is simply a civil law. It is in the federal criminal code as well. It is violating the law to come in this country illegally. If you want no enforcement mechanism for it, what I see is you advocating for lawlessness. And when I see you say things like you did on your X feed, one moment, when I see things like you put on your X feed, which you did delete, like immigrants are American, refugees are American, undocumented people are American, either that or the only real Americans are Native Americans, you pick, I see you denying something like the rule of law and the concept of citizenship. And I'm curious if that's your proposal to the people of Michigan.
So if we want to talk about law enforcement, I do want to bring up the question about the $1.8 billion Department of Justice piggy bank that Donald Trump wants to hand out to people who clearly broke our laws on January 6th. But I asked the question about gas prices because I happen to pump my gas just on Memorial Day. The worst part of my day was having to pay $82.89. Well, I thought about the fact that we lost more than a dozen service members in a war we never should have been fighting to raise those gas prices in the first place. If you want to talk about the rule of law, there are plenty of opportunities for us to talk about that.
I appreciate your position, and I will summarize it for the audience. You are opposed to the war in Iran, and you do not like the current gas prices. But Mr. Syed, we had a very friendly exchange last week. No, you're not answering my question. Is the entire point. You're pivoting the talking points. If you will talk to the question I asked, we can have an appropriate interview.
Let me finish my answer. $185 billion for ICE. That's $185 billion that are not being spent to improve anything from your infrastructure to your kid's school or to help you afford your health care. Gas is just the tip of the iceberg. So if you do want to talk about ICE, let's talk about the opportunity cost of paying $185 billion into an agency that is currently sowing unrest in New Jersey, just like it did in Minneapolis.
What is the cost to deny citizenship? Mr. Syed, what is the cost to deny citizenship? What is the cost of violence on the street when you have criminals, murderers, inside that Delaney Hall facility, who you advocated, by the way, in a Facebook post, to empty out the prisons, that you think we should put effort into, invest in, and support the idea? I believe the direct quote is, I believe that any idea that gets people out of jail should be supported. And I'm talking about the cost you're imposing on society.
Whether or not this system is actually making people any safer. Ask yourself, do you feel safer now pumping your gas? Do you feel safer now in your neighborhoods? Or do you feel less safe because you've got a $185 billion force that's answerable only to Donald Trump? Ask yourself about whether or not people
I think we know the answer to that question.
Should have felt any safer.
I think we know the answer to that question. I think you asked the parents of Jocelyn Nungaray, the parents of Lake and Riley, whether they feel safer under Donald Trump's policies.
I don't think most people feel safer. I'm so sorry. But Will, if you want to have an honest conversation about the issue, we can do that. But if you just want to interrupt me when I'm answering your question, I just don't know what the value is.
Mr. Syed, I want to have an honest conversation. I just wish you would answer my questions and not pivot to other talking points you want to have. Okay, that is my simple
goal. I just think it's important to see this in context.
I told you last week and I told you today, I want to give you appropriate time to have these conversations, but it requires two of us to talk on the same subject to have this conversation.
Is that not fantastic? The pushback with the facts. No, sir. Illegal immigration is not a violation of some civil code. It is a violation of criminal code. And he's right. Jocelyn Nungaray, Lakin Riley, how many others would like to have that conversation with El Sayed? Will Kane, worth every penny, Fox News. Quick time out. We'll wrap it up right after this on the Wendy Bell Radio Network. 100%. Wasn't that beautiful? Beautiful. Now, he gets to filibuster or say whatever he wants if he goes on with, oh, Larry, or any of the others on the left. Just let them talk. Just talk and spew. And Will was right. He's like, look, I've got a limited amount of time. I sure would like to have a conversation with you, but that takes two of us. And what you like to do is not answer my questions. It's not your interview. I'm the one asking the questions. You're the one who's trying to get votes.
Do you feel safer pumping your gas?
And trying to...
In Texas, probably.
Trying to talk about the 13 service members, right, who died during the last several months with this operation in Iran. 6 of them died in a midair collision or in some kind of a mishap with their aircraft. That was not a result of war. It was a mistake. Something happened, right? We can talk about Abby Gate if you want, or about Joe Biden and his handling of that, or of anything of any consequence.
Think how asinine his comment is with that Will Kane pulled up his old tweet that he deleted.
Mm-hmm.
Illegals are Americans. That's such a stupid statement.
Yeah.
But then again, these are the people who say a man could be a woman or a toaster, as you would say. I just hate how do I have a serious conversation with you when you start with illegals are Americans?
I don't think you can. GLP-1 Gold, you guys. The last thing I want to tell you about. A lot of people are worried about the shots. Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro. Why not try radical weight loss without injecting yourself with big pharma? Bloodflow7.com/Wendy. This is one of those products from Juvenon that is worth its weight in gold. GLP-1 Gold, in fact. Dramatic weight loss right here. 2 capsules a day. This is not for your fly-by-night, got a few pounds to lose person. This is radical weight loss at your fingertips, affordable, about $1 a day. Bloodflow7.com/Wendy. 30% off everything in their store. I don't know how you could beat that. What do you think we should end with? God is non-binary. Oh my God. Wow. I found it.
Is it Fidel Castro's daughter?
No.
Saying Justin Trudeau's her half-brother?
No. It's about Big Mike. Just kidding.
Big Mike.
I mean, honestly, if you found out that Michelle Obama was a dude, would you be all, what's his name? Craig Robinson?
Big Mike.
Mike Robinson.
Just saying.
Do I have an Adam's apple?
If you know, you know. If he's got an apple, got a banana.
Did you make that up or did somebody say that?
I probably heard it somewhere. But it's true.
It's a great line. It's a great line. Yes, it is true. That's funny.
I think I should put that on a t-shirt. If she has an Adam's apple.
If she's got an apple, she's got a nanner.
A nan.
Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. I wanted you to hear Will Kane there because he did not allow that Michigan Democrat Senate candidate to get away with controlling the interview. to get away with twisting things around to push something that's a ridiculous commentary. He wants to talk about the 13 service members who have died since this war against Iran began. I wonder how he feels about the 13 American service members blown to bits at Abbey Gate and the hundreds of others who were permanently disfigured. Will Cain did a beautiful job, but you know what? He is a diamond in the rough. Did you hear this? Only 5% of U.S. adults have much trust in TV news and newspapers. I'm telling you what, the writing's on the wall, ladies and gentlemen, and it has been. Americans' confidence, I'm getting this from newsbusters.org. Americans' confidence in television news and newspapers rates below that of a host of other U.S. institutions. Results of a new national survey reveal. Nearly half of U.S. adults, 46%, say they have almost no confidence in TV news. That is not stunning, but it is a staggering number. 46%, no confidence in TV news, while only 1 in 20, 5%, have quite a lot of confidence in television news. This is according to a new poll by the economist YouGov conducted earlier this month. Likewise, several times as many adults say they have very little confidence in newspapers, 41%, as they say have quite a lot, 5%. Of the 8 U.S. institutions that respondents were asked to rate, TV news had the highest percentage of adults voicing very little confidence in, followed by big business and newspapers. Adults actually expressed more confidence in organized labor, banks, the medical system, wow, church, organized religion, and small business than they did in either TV news or newspapers. Small business was the only one of the 8 institutions where more people said they had quite a lot of trust than they said had very little. Confidence in TV news and newspapers has not improved over the past 6 months. In November last year, the same survey asked adults to rate U.S. institutions. 48% said they had very little trust in television news. You know, this isn't a big surprise. This isn't a big surprise, and it's been a long, slow walk. I got out of the local television news business in 2016. I have not watched a local television news broadcast since. I have not sat down and watched a single one. And I don't believe I've missed a damn thing. Honestly. It's like that gentleman, Carlos Whitaker, whatever his name was, the guy who is a best-selling author, who decided to check out of his phone, all of his devices, no television, no information, no screen time. 7.5 weeks he did this, his own electronics ban, if you will. And he said at the end of it, he felt better. He thought more clearly. He felt like his relationships had improved. He felt more centered. He felt less stress. And when doctors did a brain scan after, because they had done one before when he was constantly on his devices, his brain lit up like Christmas morning. He was back. We've been lied to an awful lot. I'm tired of it. And I want every single person who has been part of it to pay a price. Revenge isn't a good color. It's not. But you know what? Something has to give. There must be the dam that breaks. There has to be a cataclysmic event that stops this cycle. One, I don't believe your local towns are going to have multiple local news stations anymore. There's no appetite for it. None. Nobody watches. And the people who do are elderly, by and large. And they're not going to be around forever. Everybody else gets their phones out, gets their news there. We're seeing a cataclysmic decline in trust of the institutions that long ago stopped earning our trust. And that is why we do what we do. Biased? Hell yeah. Honest? 100% to a fault. And that is why we are grateful that you are here. And thank you one more time for getting us those 8 million staggering podcast downloads. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow to round up the work week. Be safe. Love you. Peace.